but I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Tuesday night, and that's one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, and all the things we're not allowed to talk about, you know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the bizarre feeling that we live in the upside down. We are streaming live on Facebook, DLive, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. If at any point tonight you would like to be part of the show, we have that technology. You can dial this phone number at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord. It's a chat client. It's a voice client. It's what all the youngsters are using to play video games. We use it to do a talk show. And of course, so 702 area code is a Las Vegas area code. That's where we're streaming from. That's where we're broadcasting from. And if you don't like the long distance, because I realize we have people listening all over the world, and I'm not kidding. I see the downloads all over the world. We're talking Singapore. We're talking Australia. We are talking United Kingdom. We're talking Canada. We're talking South America. Everywhere in the world we get people listening to this, except for maybe China and Russia. Well, for obvious reasons. But so anyway, 702 area code. Some of you international types may not like because toll fees and all this other stuff. But Discord is completely free. It's a chat client. You can type in it, and voice client as well. And you can also just use it like an old school telephone. But the quality is a lot better, and it's completely free if you have an internet connection. So that's the way around it. That's the way we do it. A couple different ways you can call in and be part of the show. If you want to find the phone number or the Discord, you can go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. That is troubledminds.org, and you can be part of the show by phone number. Click the link and do your thing. And I'm just realizing I forgot to put the the stream up on the website, but I will in just a moment. So, okay. So the way this works is all that, like I said, this is less of a show, more of a conversation. Okay. And so it will go two ways, and I hope to hear from you guys tonight. What we're discussing now, there's been some strange news recently, and I think that's probably just putting it, just being polite. I mean, it's been nutter butters off the rails, really, is what the news has been. And not just recently, but, let's say the last several years. But today, in the last actually 48 hours, there's an article that came out from, let's see, where is this from? Let me get this up. And this is from New Scientist, newscientist.com, all right? And they're discussing the actual Mars rover, the Perseverance rover that just went up there. We've been covering that quite a bit on this show and on the news show. We do a news show on Twitch, by the way, at 3 p.m. Pacific on Monday and Friday to kind of bookend the week. But so on the news show, we were discussing this particular article, and this is from New Scientist. And the title of this is "Why Bringing Martian Rocks Back to Earth is a Bad Idea." Is a bad idea. Now, okay, so what's happening? We have the Perseverance rover up there, okay, and the Ingenuity helicopter. These are the names of these two things. And so, they've said that they're actually flying this helicopter on Mars. It's gone through its 4 test flights. And so we'll see what's going to happen with this next. If we get some really good footage back, I haven't seen anything amazing yet, but that's what's going on Mars from what we're told, okay? But then this thing is actually going to be able to, the actual Perseverance Mars rover is going to be able to take samples, actual soil samples of the regolith, they call it, off of Mars and be able to send them back to Earth. And so this is supposed to happen in about 10 years, approximately, because, of course, they're going to do all the things. They're going to drive all over the place. They're going to find the exact spots they want to test. They're going to have to dig these things up. They're going to have to do whatever they have to do to get them back to Earth. I have no idea how that technology works. We'll look into that another time as we get closer. 10 years is quite a long way away. But I think it's important to note, and we had one happen recently with this, the Hayabusa, and they actually had a soil sample that was plucked off of an asteroid, and so this they brought it back to Earth, and Japan's out there trying to figure it out. But the thing that drives me a little bit insane about this is it doesn't seem like we are taking it serious enough regarding the fact that if we pluck something off of an alien body, like an asteroid, right, like that Hayabusa thing, or if we have the Perseverance rover send actual samples, soil samples back from Mars to Earth, that we might have a problem on our hands. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like in the old days, we used to not know what a pandemic looked like. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink on that one. But right, and I think that in the more recent history here, last couple of years, things have kind of turned upside down a little bit more, maybe upside down and sideways even. So, and what I mean by that is that we got a taste of what a pandemic could be. All right, but if we're kind of matching this up to, let's say, the Spanish flu or something like this, it's not even close. It's not even close to that bad. But I'm not even talking about a terrestrial pandemic. I'm talking about an extraterrestrial pandemic. I'm talking about a vile pathogen from Mars that we're supposed to rely on the laboratories here to keep from escaping into the wild, when it seems like we couldn't even do it in China, right? From the level 4 lab that was over there. I'll get to that in just a sec. But what the heck, right? So we've actually got this rover on Mars, Perseverance, that's supposedly going to be able to pluck these samples off of Mars and send them back to Earth, and they'll arrive in about 10 years' time. And so that's this article here. I linked it. As always, you guys can follow up on my articles. I appreciate you actually doing that, so that I can't get away with stuff because I'm not in the business of making these things up, right? I'm just not. I'm in the business of citing these articles, and if they're propaganda, so be it. That's fine. But I do want you guys to know where I got this information from. So I'm going to link these articles in the chat, and you guys can follow up on me and make sure that we're on the same page here. But here's the thing. The article starts like this. Around a decade from now, astrobiologists from NASA and the European Space Agency will be looking out for a ballistic delivery from the heavens. The first space capsule containing soil and rock samples from the surface of Mars. And so it's designed to thump into the Utah desert without so much as a parachute to slow it down. The sample return capsule will then be transported to a biosafety level 4 lab, the BSL-4 they're known as, and that is the highest biological containment setup available. One used for pathogens like the Ebola virus. All right. And also notably, yes, exactly. That's exactly the lab in Wuhan. If everybody remembers that conspiracy theory, right? That it's possible that the coronavirus escaped from a lab in Wuhan, right? And, there's been a lot of theories kind of bouncing around regarding this. And, some have traction, some may not. And, we've had people as notable as Mike Pompeo saying that it's possible these things were, this coronavirus was created in a lab in Wuhan, right? So anyway, so this is from the American Council on Science and Health, and this is what they're talking about. The best evidence yet that coronavirus came from the Wuhan BSL-4 laboratory, which is, again, right, I just want to make certain, I kind of discussed this on the news show a little bit, but I was hip shooting. I didn't really look too deeply into it, but I did tonight. And this is true. So a BSL-4 lab, according to this article from newscientist.com, is the highest biological containment setup available on Earth. We don't get any more lockdown for what is this again? I can't say this right. Biosafety, right? That's as locked down as it gets. A BSL-4 lab for biosafety level 4. All right. So now this is what we're talking about. So even if you don't believe that the coronavirus, the recent pandemic, was created in a lab, it's very possible that it was maybe inside the lab and got out. All right. And there's a lot of evidence to suggest that. It just depends on who you ask, right? Like I said, Mike Pompeo, I'm not so sure I would believe anything that man said because, of course, he was the head of the CIA for a very long time. Propagandist deluxe, clearly a liar. And that's just the way it is, right? You're in the highest levels of government. Of course, you're just going to be a liar. That's just the way it is, right? And nobody's surprised by that. But okay, so this continues, right? So just going to point this out to make the connection in that we're talking about, okay, so the lab, so they're saying in this article that this is from acsh.org. So first, there is no reason to believe that the Wuhan laboratory is in the business of producing biological weapons. Okay, fine. So they say. But then the second, they say that the lab is a high security facility known as Biosafety Level 4, similar to the ones we have at the CDC in Atlanta. All right. So, I guess how much faith in humanity do you have, I guess, is the question here. So if we're talking about biosafety, biosecurity, things like this, and the level 4 labs, we have reason to doubt. I think recently, you can kind of just look to the recent past for the evidence there. But anyway, so I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about a possible pathogen, an alien pathogen that maybe hitchhikes on the back of these Mars samples that will come to Earth 10 years from now and will be kind of toted away into one of these biosafety level 4 labs, okay? So then finally, to comprehensively test for signs of life in this soil, past or present, on Mars will make those samples a glittering scientific prize, they say, straight from this article from New Scientist. Quote, returning pristine samples of Mars to Earth has been a goal for generations of planetary scientists, NASA says. But the space agencies are letting their quest for answers trump what is safest for life on Earth. No one knows if those samples, to be gathered soon by the Perseverance rover, could contain Martian pathogens, to which we would have no defenses. Nor do we know if the capsule could break on impact. NASA's solar wind sampler Genesis was breached when it crashed in Utah in 2004 after its parachute failed. So, of course, risking contamination of wildlife, rivers, plants, and fisheries, as well as cities. While BSL-4 labs are highly secure, there have been lapses in the past, with human error usually suspected. And like I said, looking into these things and where this may head, I think we're entering a very risky time in human history. It just very spicy here, depending on. We're getting these samples back from space now. Again, the asteroid, and then now we're talking about in 10 years we're going to start getting samples back from Mars. So, do you think it's possible that on Mars there are currently alien pathogens that might have, I don't know, what would you say, a detrimental effect on human health? I think that's probably a good way to put it. I think that's the thing. That's the thing that really kind of makes me grind my gears about this is should we be doing these things? Should we really be doing this stuff? Because, why not have a, first things first, let's put an outpost on the moon, right? And then if, this thing gets out and there's like an actual Martian pathogen, at least we've contained it to the moon, right? Where there's not a huge population. It'll be, it may be catastrophic there. But on the other side, if we shoot this thing down to Earth 10 years from now and it does get out, level 4 security biolabs, human error, like I said, how much faith do you have in humanity? So if it does get out, like I said, we had a kind of a bad taste in our mouth currently of what a pandemic may look like. But we have no idea what an alien pathogen may bring. Think of the worst, Ebola, for instance. And think about how possibly this thing could just run amok and be super, or let's say highly transmissible. I think that's probably a better way to put it. And it worries me. It worries me a little bit. So anyway, so this is what's going on, and they're currently in the next probably several weeks. They're going to scoop up the actual samples from Mars that are going to come back to Earth in 10 years or so. So, what do you think? Do you think this is one of those things that we should be concerned about, or there's other things that we should worry about? This is troubled minds after all. Anyway, so this article continues. This is from New Scientist. The risks, though small, are there. Space agencies are working with the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta and European Center for Disease Prevention and Control in Sweden to try to mitigate them. But they can't deny they exist. And that is a problem, because the UN Outer Space Treaty bans contamination of worlds we visit of Earth on return. Spacefarers, the treaty says, must avoid adverse changes in the environment of the Earth resulting from the introduction of extraterrestrial matter. Well, again, so how does it make you feel? So this could be the countdown to the extinction event that people have been, everybody's like waving their arms and, the fear mongers, mass extinctions, like global warming, all this stuff, right? And waving your arms and doing the thing, right? You watch the media, the fear propaganda media. That's all they want to do. They want to scare you. Well, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to say, look, this could be prevented. And I'm not saying, it's gonna be an alien pathogen, all right? I'm saying the possibility is there. And if it's literally, this is like an unforced error on our part, if we're not prepared for something like this, and we have no idea what may be in this sample, and we're going to just bring it to a lab in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Again, right? How could this go wrong? There's probably many ways this could go wrong, and I think this is a little bit nuts. So anyway, as you guys know, this is live. If you want to be part of the show tonight, we are talking about Mars and an alien pathogen, a possible alien pathogen. Let's put it that way. So they are going to actually collect samples from the Perseverance rover and send them back to Earth in approximately 10 years. But in the next several weeks, they will actually pick the spots they're going to pull the samples from and start collecting these things. So, like I said, are you concerned? What do you think about this? As you know, this is a live show, and I'd love for you guys to be part of it. If you want to be part of this, give us a call. Simple as that. We have a phone number up, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord, and we're talking about a possible alien pathogen coming from the Perseverance rover, and think about, like I said, we have a taste, like a small taste of what a global pandemic looks like. All right. And I'm not playing it down. I know people died and all the rest of that. I'm not that guy. However, right, think about an actual pandemic where 30% of the population ends up gone, right? It could get terrifying. Think of the Black Death in Europe, right? They say 1 in every 3 people, I believe, died when that happened. Millions and millions of people. And so that's what we're talking about. We're discussing the possible contaminated alien pathogen that may be on Mars currently. That, of course, if there's no life there other than these pathogens that we really know nothing about, if they exist, then we have a problem, don't we? And love to hear from you. Is this something we should worry about, or is it 10 years from now? And we've got two presidential elections between now and then, and who cares? Who cares, Michael Strange? That we got lots of stuff to worry about before then, by electing the next guy or whatever, next gal, whatever. Yeah, you tell me. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubleminds.org. All right. So, like I said, we've got the BSL-4 security labs, which are supposedly going to keep this thing in check. Now, need I remind you this? I know this is fiction, but in the X-Files series, they had this particular alien pathogen known as the black oil. All right. So this is straight from the X-Files wiki and the fandom and all this good stuff. And here's an example of what a science fiction writer, Chris Carter in particular, actually put this together as part of writing the show. But they have the black oil. You guys remember this? Anybody watch X-Files out there? I'm pretty sure we got some folks that have seen the X-Files. But this is what purity is. It's called purity, known as the black oil and called the black cancer by the Russians. Was an alien virus that thrived in petroleum deposits underground on Earth. The virus was capable of entering humanoids through their eyes, mouth, nose, and ears, and assuming control of their bodies. It was sentient and was capable of communicating. It is the life force of the alien colonists, which they seemingly use to reproduce their kind as well as infect other alien races in order to conquer the universe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Straight from X-Files, right? Straight out of X-Files here. And that's what we're talking about, possibly, right? And I think that's really what's going on with this is I think that, in spite of all the things that humans say they can do, I think we have sometimes a bigger problem on our hands. The black oil, as it's called, in the X-Files universe. Well, in 10 years, the Perseverance rover is going to send back regolith samples from Mars. That would be soil samples. And we have no idea what may be in those things. And again, do you think it's a good idea? That's the question tonight. That is what we're talking about, and that's what we do on this show. Trying to look forward, trying to look ahead, and not try and legislate the past like a bunch of our knucklehead politicians always try and do. Let's look forward for once. Let's look forward for a change. We have these things coming down to Earth, and we have no idea what's in them. Do you think we should be worried? I think that's really the question here, and what we're talking about tonight. So, as a result of that, looking to hear from you. Do you think we should be concerned? Or do you think I'm just a guy on the radio, a blowhard guy on the radio who has no idea what he's talking about? You tell me. I'm open to all those things. It's all good. We can have a conversation. We can agree. We can disagree. And we can still be friends at the end. But in 10 years, we're going to get soil samples from Mars. Should we be concerned what might be in those samples? And should we be talking about it now before that thing lands in the desert in Utah? That's the question tonight. Give me a call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More talk about alien pathogens after the break. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're discussing a soil sample from Mars is going to be collected in the coming days to be sent back to Earth. Should we be concerned about an alien pathogen being delivered to the desert of Utah a mere 10 years from now? Or do you think this is the stuff of science fiction? That's the question tonight. Do you want to be part of the show? We're doing this live, like I said. And you give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. All right. Now let's go to nasa.gov, this website here. This is, of course, the propaganda front of our secret space program. Wink, wink, if you know what I'm saying. But let's go to that. And I've shared the link here. Now, this is how they're going to do this, all right? This is how they propose to do this. They've got actual, like visual depictions of the containers they're going to use from the rover to get these they're called sample tubes, to get the sample tubes from the Mars soil to Earth. All right, so here we go. The tubes carried in the belly of NASA's Mars 2020 Perseverance rover are destined to carry the first samples in history from another planet back to Earth. Future scientists will use these carefully selected representatives of Martian rock and regolith, the broken rock and dust is what it's called, to look for evidence of potential microbial life present in Mars' ancient past and to answer other key questions about Mars and its history. Perseverance will land at Mars' Jezero crater on February 18th, 2021. Clearly, this is an older article, but it's already there. And in the coming days, they're going to actually select the exact spots where they think will be maybe the most likely to find evidence of life, and then they're going to send these things back to Earth. So here we go. So these tubes, what are they going to do here? Again, sample tubes. The technology is amazing, right? And you can read about all this. Like I said, it's a little deep to go into some of the exacts on this, but that's why I like to share my sources. So if you guys want to learn more, you can actually just read straight from what I'm looking at. But here's the anatomy of the sample tube, the illustration, and how it's gonna. So basically, they're gonna stick it into the soil itself, all right, and then it's gonna seal off on the bottom. So it's gonna capture the dirt or the rocks or whatever it is inside the little capsule itself, the sample tube, and then from there they're going to be able to send it back. I'm not exactly sure there, so let's see. So as it investigates, mission scientists will determine when and where it will drill for samples, which is happening soon, very soon, coming to a news cycle near you, I'm sure. This precious Martian cargo will be packaged in those tubes with the most intricate and technologically advanced mechanism ever sent into space, the sample caching system, which is exactly what we're talking about. So the second mission in this sample return campaign will send a fetch rover to retrieve the hermetically sealed tubes and deliver them to a special sample return container inside the Mars ascent vehicle. The Mars 2020 Perseverance rover could also deliver tubes with samples to the vicinity of the Mars ascent vehicle if it remains healthy well into an extended mission. The Mars ascent vehicle will then launch the tubes into orbit. And there you go. And that's how they're going to get them back to Earth, all right? So, like I said, this is going on now in the next several days, weeks. We're not exactly sure. They're still going to drive around and find the exact spots they're going to try and get this the samples from. But like I said, we're talking about an alien planet, all right? We don't even know if there's life there. And, regarding Mars, that's the biggest question, isn't it? That's one of the largest questions out there is, do we actually have what we need to prove there is or isn't life on Mars? And I think a bad way to find out would be sending it back to Earth. What do you think? What do you think? And that's what we're talking about tonight. And oddly enough, now there's some actual like precedent of people believing that it wouldn't be the first time. So let's assume in the Mars crust, all right, that there's some sort of alien pathogen, all right? And let's say that it does come to Earth. People have suggested in the past that it's already happened. People have suggested through actually the theory known as panspermia that we actually came to Earth as microbes or what have you billions of years ago on a wayward asteroid, a wayward comet, right? Things like this. So that's what we're talking about, really. But if we're going to force this kind of with our own technology, I think this is probably a bad idea. But again, what do you think? If you guys want to be part of this, I'm going to put up the phone number 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. You can find the Discord there as well, Discord link, and come say what's up. Come tell me what you think about this particular thing happening. All right, so now let's get to panspermia. And oddly enough, here we go. This is from Forbes.com. And Forbes, good stuff. Sometimes, other times not so much. But here we go. There are lots of actual considerations currently for actually beliefs that a lot of the things that came to Earth came from space. All right, and that's panspermia, including all the life on Earth. All right. So this is from again Forbes.com, and they're talking about the headline is this. What is panspermia? New evidence for the wild theory says that we could all be space aliens. All right. And so if that's the trick and that's really what's going on here, then it's really not so far-fetched to believe that there's some sort of pathogen on Mars that could be extremely detrimental to life on Earth. All right. I don't think it's a stretch. So here we go. Imagine if NASA's Mars Perseverance rover, now on its way to the red planet, a little bit older, discovered microbial life there. It would change everything we know about life in the solar system and far beyond. Or would it? What if we accidentally transported life to Mars on a spacecraft? And what if that is how life moves around the universe? And that's another good angle as well, is what if we sent life there? We had our own microbes cling to this, the Perseverance rover, and we're actually seeding Mars with life currently. Interesting, eh? It goes both ways, does it not? So who knows? Maybe they're up there mixing some sort of microbial deadly cocktail as we speak, right? With the Earth microbes and the Mars microbes, and they're having like just a party. They're like, yeah, we've been waiting for this for 1 billion years. Yeah. Who knows, right? And that's what we're talking about. So here we go. In a new paper published this week in Frontiers of Microbiology, it explores the possibility that microbes and extremophiles may migrate between planets and distribute life around the universe. And that includes on a spacecraft, of course, sent from Earth to Mars. So does it go both ways? I think so. I think definitely. And now there's some interesting parallels here. And like I said, so they're going to take these actual soil samples and bring them back to Earth in about 10 years' time. All right. So it's going to come land in the desert in Utah, and we're going to move it to one of these biosafe security. What are they called? What are they called again? What is this thing called? It is a the one that the Wuhan virus was in, right? That whole thing. So the BSL-4 lab, right? The best kind of let's see, a biosafety level 4 lab, the highest biological containment setup available on planet Earth. All right. Again, that's back to the original article here from New Scientist. But so we're supposed to be happy with the fact that it's possible that these things have leaked due to human error in the past in these super secure biological lockdown situations, and instead we're going to be sending this stuff from Mars, right? But now here's the thing. Now here's the craziest part. So there's all kinds of things that kind of went through my brain when I was thinking about this tonight, or actually today as I was kind of putting this stuff together and thinking about this and seeing what the folks have said in the past, right? Now there's actual people that say that the actual flu, just the modern flu, right? The common cold, they say it came from outer space. All right. Now check this out. This is from The Guardian, which again, shrug your shoulders, smack your forehead, The Guardian, LOL. But for instance, so in a report to be published in the journal Current Science, they claim the flu outbreak was caused by dust deposited high in the atmosphere by passing comets being forced down to Earth by energy generated by cooler patches on the sun's surface, known as sunspots. Sunspots. So they're saying oddly enough, that there's an 11-year cycle. All right, I'll read it straight from the article. I'll probably say it better than me. Okay, so they reach the peak of their activity, the maxima, these sunspots, every 11 years, coinciding, the scientists say, with all major flu outbreaks since 1761, including the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, blamed for 20 million deaths worldwide. The latest cycle began to peak in September, and the maxima is due sometime this year. And this article is all the way back from 2000. All right, so we're 2000, 2001. So we're 2 cycles past that now. But you get the point, right? Is so people are suggesting that currently the common flu actually coincides with sunspots in an 11-year solar maxima cycle that will sort of melt these things or send them down from the atmosphere down to Earth. Which would mean, of course, that alien pathogens are already here. Which I thought was absolutely curious. And I've got a list of all kinds of other theories where they talk about these different pathogens that could be from space, from actual outer space itself. And so that's really that's the thing, right? So it's one thing if we have these possible alien pathogens already in the atmosphere that coincide with the 11-year solar cycle, that when we get the sunspots get hot, it kind of pushes them down in the atmosphere, whatever, right? Whatever's going on with this. That's one thing. It means they've been there for quite a long time, and Earth has had a chance to kind of, kill off tens of millions of people or hundreds of millions of people, and create these, immunities, or at least the ability to fight it. But if you do something like this and you take it from Mars itself, like I said, should we be concerned about this? I think we should. I think that's why I'm talking about it. But there's a whole list of diseases here that they think came from space. So I'm going to pull this up and look at this list and let you guys know what some of this stuff is. But I want to know what you think. As always, this is a two-way conversation. So I can continue reading stuff like I'm the substitute teacher, or I can hear what you think about this. Should we be concerned regarding bringing soil samples from an alien planet back to Earth? And do you think that there's some danger there? I think that's really the question tonight. So you want to be a part of the show, love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Join the Discord. Troubleminds.org is the phone number and the Discord link there. Can't miss it. It's right on top. And that's what we're talking about. And should we tempt fate this way? I think that we're going to have some humanity has its own problems as it is. I don't think that we should be creating more. And I think this is a possible way to create more of this. So here we go. Let's see. I've got a whole list here of actual diseases that they think possibly came from space. This is from listverse.com, and I'm going to link this, and I'll read just a couple of these as we continue here, as I wait for you guys to call. Because again, like I said, I'd rather talk to you. I think I've probably made a nice way to start the conversation here with lots of information, and that's what's up. 702-957-1037. Let's go to this. So let's go to Listverse. 10 diseases that possibly came from outer space. The Pandora virus, number 10. We'll get to that in just a sec. And some of this mad cow disease. There's a whole list of these. I'll read some of this stuff from this website. But we got a phone call coming in. Thank you for that. And looking to hear from you guys as well. Do you think, X-Files style, if we take soil samples from Mars and bring them back here and even lock them in a biosecurity lockdown of sorts, do you think it's safe? Do you think it's something we should be doing? Do you think that's the type of fate that we should tempt? I think that's the question tonight. So here we go. Let's go to, this is Beechwood in Massachusetts. What's up? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing well. And I was listening to the show. I think it's, I don't think it's the greatest idea. I think it's a very, very small risk chance. I'm going to say the risk is minimal, but it's still there. And it's just so unknown that it wouldn't be worth the chance. I don't see why we can't go there. like just put more time and effort, money, resources to go there. And I'm sure that, because if people want to leave, it may sound cynical, but people are expendable to a point. And there's a lot of people that would be willing to, step up and give their life to something like that. And, I respect that, if someone wants to do that. But as far as, like, we see right here on Earth what invasive species can do in just different regions of the Earth. And we have that problem right here in America. And it's with invasive vegetation, invasive insects, invasive fish. But one of the things that I know a lot about is, this invasive vegetation. There's a specific type that grows in lakes, and it's from China. And you can literally, it destroys lakes. It sucks all the oxygen out of the water. It's this big, thick, heavy seaweed. And you can take a piece of it like a strand of hair. You can take it out of the water, let it dry out, and you can go and throw it in another lake. And in a couple of years, that lake will be infested with it. And it's extremely hard to kill. It just never goes away. And that's simply just from moving one thing from one place to another. So we know how out of control it can get with things like that. Now, with something from another planet, I think it could get too out of control to take the risk. And it may not affect humans directly. It may affect the ecosystem. And our food chain is just as important as us. If you look at the bottom of the food chain, if any of that stuff goes away, eventually everything's going to go away.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%. And there are chain reactions, and that's exactly what you're pointing out here. And if we're talking about these, like I said, just the past year has kind of taught us what a actual pandemic looks like, right? Again, we've kind of forgotten the modern times. You go all the way back to the Spanish flu. That was a lifetime ago, more than that even. So this, like I said, you kind of do a little bit of some X-Files and some science fiction and some, thinking about the worst case type stuff. And there could be some really, really ugliness that happens as a result of this. And there's actually even a movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, right here on Earth, some of the diseases that exist are a lot worse than we were. In a way, we were lucky that it was only as bad as it got, because there are some really nasty things that they kill you real quick. There's cholera, Ebola, smallpox, all that stuff. But then you mentioned too, I kind of think human race was somewhat seeded from extraterrestrials, and that kind of may be our purpose. Human beings are kind of like seeds. We love to. It may be Earth's way of spreading life, because if we travel to somewhere else, I assume we're going to bring all the good stuff from Earth, I would imagine, or maybe we wouldn't. But the universe is so big, so would that be unethical to bring fruits and vegetables to another planet that was barren but could support the life? That's a tough question, because is it right or wrong? And we get to decide, I guess. But
yeah, I
that
think
was all I really had to say.
Okay, yeah. I think at some point you have to be able to, if you're moving to that planet, you have to make it kind of hospitable to us. We're the ones that are going to be there. So I think I'm less concerned about taking Earth stuff to Mars than I am bringing Mars stuff to Earth. You know what I'm saying? It just makes more sense that way. But again, we don't know what kind of ecosystem may exist on Mars. So we might just destroy it just by being there. So yeah, again, lots of stuff here. Who knows, man? And then not only that, these level 4 containment centers for the bio whatever the hell this stuff is it possibly just got out of one in Wuhan in China.
That's another very, very valid point. That's the one I forgot to mention first. Is humans are notoriously clumsy. We make mistakes. We're human. That's what makes us human. One of the things it does anyways. But yeah, notoriously clumsy. So yeah, something would happen. Accidents happen.
Accidents happen. Exactly right. I appreciate the call, Beechwood. Anything else while we got you on?
No, that's it. Good show. Hope some other people call in, and I'll keep listening. So
appreciate
I'll
it, my
talk
man.
to you later.
Thank you. That's Beechwood from Massachusetts. Thank you for the call. We got Tim from Georgia right behind you. Let's look at the time. Actually, I'm gonna go to Tim in Georgia. And Tim, what's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. So we got a break coming up in just a couple minutes. But if you want, we'll start and then wait a few minutes and then continue if that's cool.
Okay, cool. Right on. What's going on, Mike?
You already know, man.
Doing all right?
Doing our thing. I'm doing great. How are you? Feeling better?
Right on. Doing okay. My biggest fear about this is the space herpes. The last time I was cruising around the whole intergalactic scene, being a pirate, one of the crew members caught space herpes. So we definitely don't want that coming back to Earth.
Let's not do that. I agree. 100%.
Just saying.
I had to wait there because I thought maybe you bring the details so hard sometimes.
Anyone remember Ron Perlman chasing the space herpy around the spacecraft besides me?
No. Are you being serious? What are you talking about?
That should be the guidebook for what you do and don't when visiting an alien world, man. Ice pirates, remember? Ice pirates.
I don't recall.
They had the space herpy on board, and it chased them around and everything else, man, and that's what we're going to end up with. We're going to send some yahoos to Mars. They'll camp out. They'll come back a couple of years later, and it'll be like the day of the Triffids or something because of space herpes, I'm telling you. It's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea.
And aren't we supposed to have like a super secret space program and slave colonies on Mars according to all these other folks out there, and that's got me puzzled because why would they have this thing launched 10 years later if they're supposed to be on Mars by 2025?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
It's kind of weird. And if you look up and run a search in your browser, they just said something the other day where it was trying to dig a sample, and something happened, and it failed.
Yeah, I saw that.
So they've already had
a couple fails,
a failure on some of that.
Yep, exactly right. So, hey, we do have to take a break. So hang tight, Tim, and we'll continue this conversation. I appreciate you calling in. So we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the actual Perseverance rover is collecting a sample from the Martian soil, and it's going to be sent back to Earth 10 years from now. All right. Now, again, this irritates me a little bit because very much like Tim said here, we'll get back to you in a sec, Tim. I'm going to mute you. We'll come back and get you in a few. Thank you. Like Tim was saying, he's completely right. If we're going to be sending people there shortly with Elon Musk and the rest of this, why don't we just bring little laboratories with us and do the work up there? If there's some sort of actual pathogen that could kill people, why don't we keep it on Mars? Well, I don't know. Just saying, right? Like, it's not like we're not going to be to Mars in 3 lifetimes. Elon Musk is saying he will die on Mars, which means if we can take the man on his word in any capacity, we're going to have people there soon. So why are we going to send this stuff back to Earth, this possible pathogen that might have a very large problem? That's the question tonight. Looking to hear from you. 702-957-1037. This is Trouble Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're talking about an alien pathogen possibly coming from Mars to the Earth. Should we be concerned? Don't go anywhere. More conversation after the break.
None of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. There are other forces at work in this world, Frodo, besides the will of evil. Bilbo was meant to find the ring, in which case you also were meant to have it. And that is an encouraging thought.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And this is a show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the fact that it feels like we live in the upside down. This show is live. If you want to be part of the show tonight at any point, give us a call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord, find the phone number as well at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. We are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And tonight, we are talking about the Perseverance rover on Mars is currently or soon to be collecting soil samples that are going to be sent back to Earth approximately 10 years from now. Now, do you think there's a danger in this, considering we don't even really know if there's life on Mars? If we're talking about microbial life, a Martian pathogen, do you think it's safe? That's really what's on deck tonight and what we're talking about. We've got Tim on the phone, so let's go straight to Tim, not make him wait any longer. Thanks for waiting and hanging out with us, Tim. How are you, my friend? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, man. Heck, no, it ain't safe, man, because I don't want to catch the space herps, man. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with ice
now,
pilots.
They got protocols.
Go ahead.
They got protocols and stuff for all this stuff, but the thing is, like the previous caller mentioned, and he's absolutely right. Human beings make mistakes. AIs, computers, are only as good as the people that program them, so they even make mistakes. And, you know, I mean, what could possibly go wrong? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean...
How do we know that Mars wasn't populated and they destroyed themselves trying to take out the invisible enemy, right?
Which was like a pathogen so virulent that it took out the entire population on Mars. That's laying there dormant in the soil.
Probe to find out if you had it or not.
Exactly.
Break out the swab, my friend.
Exactly.
I mean, really.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so, okay, so we got some good comments here, and I want to read these and address this. On YouTube, NS says this: Hayabusa brought back samples in 2010. Hayabusa 2 brought back samples in 2020. Come on, guys. And you were completely correct. And I did mention that. But here's the thing, right? Those are from asteroids. Those are not from planetary scale bodies, right? Celestial bodies on a planetary scale. They are not. It is not the same thing whatsoever. Like, there could be all kinds of like actual water underneath Mars, just littered with life. It could be like Earth under there, and we don't know. We just don't know. And some people have suggested that's very, very possible. So I just want to address that because it's true, but those are samples from an asteroid. It's not the same thing at all. Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
Right. I agree, Mike. It is. It's two different things entirely. And we need to hurry up and get there. They need to quit jerking around and put some people on Mars. And we're in a race. We're in a space race with China and Russia. And as everybody's seen a couple days ago, right away on May 1st, China put up the first core module of their new space station. And by the way, their rocket's tumbling out of control, and they don't know where it's going to come down. It may come down in our backyard for all we know. I've been covering that situation on my channel. It's not looking good anyways. There's so much activity going on, and I'm sure, you know, from asteroids already hitting Earth, meteors, whatever, I'm sure we've already been exposed to stuff from space plenty of times, just due to the nature of space and how our atmosphere works and everything else. And I think I read one time in high school where we already had a piece of meteorite that they believed it had came from Mars. that had hit the Earth, that had been knocked off of Mars by impact on Mars, and they believe that that's how it got to Earth. And my first thought when I remember reading that was, how do they know? Well, because of the first, probe that they had landed on Mars, it took samples and readings and sent them back, and that's when they classified everything, and back then that stuff didn't really get released to the public, and we've had a few people come out from NASA and say, hey, there's a lot to the readings that were taken. That's why we keep going back. So I say we land people there as soon as possible, and if they'll get the herpes, well, then they got to stay there. They're not coming back to Earth. We can't risk everybody else getting space herpes. They can stay. So, yeah, Elon Musk, you might die on Mars of the space herpes, homie.
And he knows it.
But I support what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. It's something we have to do.
Did you see the National Guard has announced today that there is going to be a Space Force National Guard now? That is how badly they need people.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
I had it on my channel. I posted the links today. I'm not joking one bit. And there's also, if you look at Black Vault, if you take any information in on what's going on with the FOIA stuff, there's some serious stuff going on there. And that everybody needs to take a hard look at, because now you have an internal investigation as to the intelligence failure of why our people are being attacked by directed energy weapons, and nobody knows who's responsible or wants to admit it. The former chief of the Pentagon yesterday is asking those hard questions of the press and of the current administration. He wants answers. They wanted answers. Has to do with Havana syndrome and all that stuff we've talked about before. But all that is tied in to space, the space race. It's interesting, folks. We're living in some interesting times.
That's for sure. And somebody actually suggested on this show that it's possible that some of this Havana syndrome stuff and the directed energy weapons might even be coming from like a satellite. So I think you're spot on there with we just don't know. And oddly enough, that was 2016 when this first started. Like, we've been covering this for years, literally years. And so for some reason, the press gets wind of it. It gets leaked, right? We're talking about it. The public is talking about it, at least the public who's aware of these things. And then for some reason, there's no investigation until last year. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, they are ruining people's lives with this, like brain damage. You go to sleep, you wake up, and you got brain damage. It's sick, man. It's sick.
And just think, the White House was attacked, and they're admitting that the one garden of the White House was attacked. People were affected at the White House. That's being admitted. I dropped some links on that today. I've covered it the last couple of days because what's important to me here, nobody wants to stand up and tell the truth about who's really behind the ability to go after, with directed energy weapons, 2 presidential administrations from 2 different political parties. I want you to think about that. And then the huge, giant break in Russia and China from the ISS and the agreements we have with space, and now it's a absolute race for space. You have Bezos trying to stop the contract Elon Musk has with NASA for the lunar lander. Okay? He's directly involved with that. What does he have to do with space? There's a lot to it. There's a lot of good reading to do on that. And I think somebody may already be in the business of taking stuff in and out of orbit. And I know if you go to NASA's website, there's actually protocols for bringing stuff in and out of the atmosphere, like they did with the supposed moon rocks from the moon missions. There was all these procedures that they had to observe, to make sure and test them that they didn't have anything that would harm anybody. So I would think they would take pretty good precautions. But at the end of the day, I'm saying, just go there, set up the lab, do everything you got to do on Mars. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, if you get the space herps out there, then, well, God bless you. Godspeed. Sorry it was you.
You can't come back.
Sorry, you're not allowed back. Yep. then the borders actually mean something. The border from Mars to Earth.
the space wall. We need to build the space wall. And it's funny because there used to be a project in the Air Force called Space Fence. Now they're talking about reviving that and having, so I'm like, I'm emailing away going, hey, call it the space wall and fund it. And if you know who the bronze man gets back in 2024, well, then that'll be a hell of a thing to drive the other side insane when we're out there trying to fund a space wall.
Build that wall. With
our National Guard Space Force, Space Guard. I tell you what, we got it going on, man. America rocks, dude. Anybody says otherwise, you're wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. I'm going to digress if you get me off on that tangent. But no, okay. So I appreciate the call. You know what I'm going to say. I'm going to start pounding my fist and raising my voice. But okay. So anything else while we got you on the phone, my friend? Actually,
I'm good.
Tell people about your show.
Mike. Great show. Great subject tonight, too, because I'm like you, man. I'm so skeptical if they do this. It's like, oh, wow, what could go wrong? If it explodes over a city, everybody dies of diarrhea or something, then we'll know.
Yeah, exactly. So. so descriptive. Tell people about your show, please.
That's it. No playgrounds at Taco Bell. You folks have a good night.
All right. I'll tell him about your show. Thanks for the call, Tim. That's Tinfoil Timothy, Tim from Georgia. He's got a show on D Live. I always link him to our show. If you guys are interested, go check him out. Funny guy, lots of interesting stuff, and he's looking into all this like we are. He's trying to do this exact same thing, meaning that we decide, right? The entire point of this whole show is we decide our narratives. We decide the things that are important, and we get to discuss them, all right? And we have the right to be wrong about it, all right? That's what this is about. That's what he's trying to do over there, too. And doing some parallel stuff to us and also some other things we haven't even thought of yet. So very, very good stuff. Thank you again. Follow Tinfoil Timothy on D Live and also on YouTube. Appreciate the call, my friend. All right, so that's what we're talking about tonight. And again, so NS says this, and this is what I like. It's okay. We can agree, we can disagree, and it's what makes a conversation. It's fine, and we don't have to, be contentious or silly at each other or snarky or any of this. It's like, hey, look, we can agree, we can disagree, and we can still go have a beer at the end, right? And still be friends. That is what a conversation is. For those people that have been indoctrinated to believe it means if your politics are the opposite, you have to hate that person. You understand? It's not that at all. It should never be that, and it will never be that as long as we do not allow it. You understand? So anyway, NS in the chat says this, and you are correct, my friend. I'm with you. He says something to the, where is it? The chat scrolls so fast. Here we go. All right, let's go. Let's find okay, so he brought up the fact that Hayabusa and Hayabusa 2 brought back samples from a meteor, and I addressed that. He says this, I'd be more concerned if I saw mold, bacteria, or mushrooms growing on the Perseverance rover, which I understand, okay? I'm personally not concerned of a Mars pathogen, not like the ancient Antarctic pathogen. And interesting you bring that up. Let's go to this article from NPR. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? So we have these, apparently, these pathogens on Earth. There's these ancient pathogens that come from all kinds of crazy places, right? That could be laying dormant here for who knows how long. And so part of the problem with Mars is it could be very similar, all right? It could be actually laying in permafrost on Mars, and then once we scoop it up and send it back, we got a problem on our hands. You know what I mean? Like we have a serious problem. So that's what we're talking about. And that's, I think it's worth at least considering. And I'm with you, like if we saw mushrooms and mold growing on that thing, growing on the rovers and stuff, it would be a different story entirely. But as far as, the rest of that goes, we don't know. For all we know, the life went underground on Mars because of the radiation, right? I mean, who knows? Like there's a lot of actual, scientific folks way smarter than me that are suggesting this could be possible. So I'm just saying. But anyway, yes, good stuff there. I appreciate you saying, hey, no, maybe not. Also, maybe not. And I brought this up during the break, and I want to point this out as well. And so I don't want to be the fearmonger guy that's like, oh, by the way, they're going to send us a pathogen from Mars and we're all going to die, right? Because who knows? Like this is, of course, highly speculative. I'm considering the possibility. But there's also on the flip side, there's the possibility that if you get a pathogen or some kind of something, microbes from Mars, whatever, maybe it's whatever we find there is super beneficial and will change Earth for the better somehow. I mean, that's possible too, right? It's also possible there's nothing up there and we find nothing, right? But we just have no idea at this point. So I want to make sure that we include all of those as part of the conversation, because we don't know. All speculation at this point. But I think, like I said, we need to be talking about these things now. This is supposed to happen in 10 years. These samples from Mars are supposed to come back and land in Utah. All right. So I think that the conversation needs to start. People need to be considering these things. How long before Elon Musk is supposed to be on Mars or send the first colony up there? It's 2021. I think by 2030. Is that right? So, I mean, if we're talking 10 years, those samples are getting back here. Well, maybe we have people up there by then anyway. So, yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's the good stuff. And looking to hear from you. Appreciate the calls. We got Beechwood and Tim calling in tonight. If you guys want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org, and give us a call. Put you on the show. All right, so let's go to this NPR article. And it reads this. And this is exactly the same sort of thing. This is from January 24th, 2018. Are there zombie viruses in the thawing permafrost? Interesting, eh? So let's see. I noticed. So there were people out there doing science, right? And this is again from 2018. And so they pitched tents right on the beach. Over the course of a month, Zach Peterson, watched a gigantic pod of beluga whales swim along the beach. This is Antarctica. Came face to face with a hungry polar bear invading their campsite and helped dig out the skull of a rare type of polar bear. Exciting stuff, right? That sounds amazing. But then the most memorable thing happened right at the end of the trip. Quote, I noticed a red spot on the front of my leg, Peterson says. It was about the size of a dime. It felt hot and hurt to touch. The spot grew quickly. After a few days, it was the size of a softball, he says. Peterson realized he had a rapidly spreading skin infection, and he thought he knew where he might have picked it up. A creature preserved in the permafrost. Mm-hmm. And there we go. So in the past few years, there have been a growing fear about a possible consequence of climate change, right? Zombie pathogens, they say. I'm going to get into climate change another time, but we have the Earth goes through cycles, and the permafrost is not always a permafrost, right? I mean, if you go back 2 million years, is it? Maybe not. It goes through these cycles, and so very much like X-Files, like we were talking about, is that the black oil, there's this alien, whatever it is, this alien entity that can inhabit people and use them as hosts, right? It's a sentient thing, but it was buried in these oil wells, right? In these petroleum wells or whatever it was. I don't know what's going on exactly with where they came from in X-Files. It's fiction after all, but the thing is that they're talking about melting permafrost and specifically bacteria and viruses preserved for centuries in frozen ground, coming back to life as the Arctic's permafrost starts to thaw. Now, with that, right, we know that there are extremophiles. We know the water bears, right, that can live for almost forever, like they can go into a dormant state and dry up, and they're like dust. And then once you put water back into them, or you expose them to oxygen or whatever they need to survive, they come back to life. You see? Like, this is the thing we're talking about. Zombie viruses. Now, if that's the case, and it's happening here in Antarctica, which has been proven, these things are happening. All right? I don't think it's so much of a stretch to suggest or even to consider that on Mars, there's something similar happening, right? Like, many people say there's never been life on Mars. Some people say there used to be lots of life on Mars, and for some reason there was a cataclysm or some kind of nuclear something or other or whatever, right? Like, there's the guy, Jimmy, the real Jimmy Roberts on YouTube. Check him out. He's talking about Mars as an ancient civilization that had some sort of cataclysm, and he's trying to find these broken apart pieces of this civilization in the photographs we get back from the rovers and things on Mars. So you know what I mean? There's some considerations, and I'm not willing to put all my money on one of these things, but what I am telling you is if it's happening here, these zombie viruses and the thawing permafrost on Earth are actually kind of coming back from wherever they were. Who knows how long they've been there? Hundreds of years? Thousands of years? What about millions of years? What about 1 billion years lying dormant on Mars? And that's what we're talking about tonight. So it is, and of course, the rover that's up there, the latest rover, the Perseverance rover, is going to be picking soil samples from Mars to send back 10 years from now. And so, of course, right, you kind of put the 2 and 2 together and like, wait a minute. At least, well, I do. Maybe I'm a knucklehead, and that's okay, right? I've been called much worse, but it's okay. So here we go. So the idea resurfaced in the summer of 2016, talking about these actual zombie viruses that are kind of coming back. When a large anthrax outbreak struck Siberia, a heat wave in the Arctic thawed a thick layer of the permafrost, and a bunch of reindeer carcasses started to warm up. The animals had died of anthrax, and as their bodies thawed, so did the bacteria. Right? Anthrax spores spread across the tundra. Dozens of people were hospitalized, and a 12-year-old boy died. All right? On the surface, it looked as if zombie anthrax had somehow come back to life after being frozen for 70 years. What pathogen would be next? Smallpox? The 1918 flu? The media took the idea of zombie pathogens and ran with it. Right? Of course, adding it to the fear-mongering of the climate change and the rest of things they do. But I'd be more concerned about some ancient pathogen being released from the permafrost than the things they're trying to tell us about climate change anyway. So, like I said, it just depends. We get to choose our own narrative, and we're allowed to be wrong, okay? And so, like us, scientists also work with a data set, okay? Ours tends to be warped by the media, and theirs can also be warped by a lack of information, by not enough actual data for the projects they're doing. Like there's by all kinds of things, right? So, as we said in several shows back, trust the science, right? You can always just trust the science until you can't, right? Until you can't. So anyway, point being, nobody's always right, and so we're allowed to make up our own mind and make up our own priorities. And that's what we're doing tonight. Talking about the Perseverance rover collecting soil samples from Mars and sending them back to Earth. Do you think we should be concerned about a possible pathogen being sent from Mars to Earth and causing a grotesque pandemic? That's the topic tonight. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're talking about. Love to hear from you. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. If you want to be part of the show, give me a call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. More discussion about pathogens, zombie viruses, interplanetary panspermia, and more coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, D-Live. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. If you want to be part of the show tonight, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord and be part of the show that way. Go to troubledminds.org, the official website. Phone number's right on top. Discord link right on top. Can't miss it. Put you on the show. And tonight we're talking about the Perseverance rover on Mars. It's going to collect some soil samples and send them back in approximately 10 years. All right? Should we be concerned of some sort of Martian pathogen, an alien pathogen that might escape and cause a horrific pandemic on Earth? I think we're at the point in the space race, as it's heating up, where we could consider maybe waiting Elon Musk has stated that he's going to be on Mars soon, right? He's stated in his lifetime he fully expects to die on Mars, he says, right? I mean, we'll see. He seems like the type of guy that will, put his money where his mouth is and make it happen. So maybe you should wait. Maybe we should wait until they get up there. And like Tim said when he called in, if you're going to get the space herpes, you may as well do it on Mars, where you can quarantine on the planet instead of sending it down here back to Earth in some sort of little capsule that might escape from the Wuhan level actual what is it? The level 4 lab is what they call it. It's supposed to be the highest protective pathogen, the biological security on Earth. Well, yeah, we know how that just went. Okay, so anyway, so I'm going to go to this list now. This is kind of important to maybe cement the narrative tonight, and that it's not as easy as, just because we consider there's probably no life on Mars, or the scientists are up in the air and really haven't decided yet. Because, right, they need, you got to have little bugs walking around and stuff, and then they'll be like, yeah, damn it, life on Mars. But until we get to that point, it's speculation, right? Okay, but check this out. This is from listverse.com, and there's 10 diseases that possibly came from outer space. And I'll read a couple, 3 of these or whatever it takes, and just to give you an example that these things happen. These things actually happen out there, and they're saying that they're probably coming from space. So if that's the case, and they're sending these down from in the upper atmosphere or whatever happens, then why shouldn't we be concerned about a possible pathogen from Mars? I think it's definitely plausible. So here we go. For many years, scientists have believed that the seeds of life may have ridden to Earth on meteors. This theory is called panspermia, and it answers a lot of questions about our origins. Unfortunately, those same scientists believe that alien bacteria and viruses may still be raining down on us. These microscopic invaders have been blamed for all sorts of illnesses, from the everyday to the completely bizarre. Germaphobes, beware. And this is straight from the article on Listverse. Now, the first one, the Pandora virus. If the terrifying name of this newly discovered virus isn't enough to worry you, maybe the fact that it is 10 times larger than any ordinary virus will. Discovered by French scientists in 2013, this bizarrely unique microorganism is only found in 2 places on Earth. Off the coast of Chile and in a single Australian pond. It shares only 6% of its genetic makeup with the rest of life on Earth. This has led many to the conclusion that it isn't actually native to Earth. It may seem silly, but researchers are seriously investigating the possibility that the Pandora virus is alien in origin. But don't worry, even if this scary-sounding creepy crawly ends up being from Mars, it's really only harmful if you're an amoeba. All right, so there we go. There's one, right? And so there's a whole list here. They say, we'll skip some of these. But there's mad cow disease, they've suggested, right? Researchers in India recently announced that the brain-attacking microbes may have come from a passing comet. The frozen balls of space dust have been found to contain chemical structures very similar to prions and other microorganisms. Tiny frozen aliens may have been blown out into a comet's dust trail and left behind to be snagged by the Earth's gravity. These scientists have since sent balloons into the upper atmosphere to search for the cow-killing germs. Right? See, we got. There are other problems here. I think that's part of this. Is we should consider all these things. And scientists currently are saying, hey, we think these things probably come from let's see, NS says 9 out of 10 of these were suspect from meteors, comets, asteroids, Mike. And that's true. NS, give me a call, buddy. Give me a call. Here we go. So that's true. And now here's the thing. Considering that means Mars is going to be similar, right? And they're also going to be subject to the exact same things, except Mars is very different than Earth. All right? Very different with the actual radiation, with the water that's possibly underneath, with all kinds of things, where maybe the evolutionary process on Mars is very, very different enough from Earth that the same stuff comes through and turns into something very, very different, you see? So, yeah, I mean, what you're saying, yes, but I'm not backing off the possibility that there might be some sick bugs living on Mars here. So the Spanish flu, we know this one, right? Here we go. In 1918, the world was in the grip of one of the deadliest epidemics of all time. Called the Spanish flu, the disease infected 1/3 of the Earth's population and claimed roughly 20 million lives. It was a uniquely deadly strain of a common virus. And English astronomer Sir Fred Hoyle had a theory as to why. Comets, he thought, deposited frozen alien viruses into the atmosphere. They were then blasted down to the Earth's surface by energy generated by sunspot activity. This activity peaks every 11 years, pushing more of the tiny invaders to the ground level. Convincingly, this 11-year cycle was shared by all global flu outbreaks for over 250 years, meaning that the Spanish flu disaster may have been Earth's first large-scale alien invasion. Good stuff there, right? And that's what we're talking about. So if it's, sure, asteroids, comets, and these sorts of things, why not Mars? And if we have, for the first time, we're told, an actual soil sample from Mars being collected and sent back to Earth in the next 10 years, I think we have some things to be worried about. Here's some other terrifying ones. Ebola. Ebola is one of the most horrifying diseases imaginable, causing heavy bleeding and an agonizing end. It really is a fate worse than death. So, of course, the infamous 2014 outbreak had the world united in terror, but some for more reasons than others. Ashley Dale of England's Bristol University had a theory. Millions of years ago, he thought, the Ebola virus may have arrived on Earth from a meteorite collision. Citing evidence that microscopic life forms have been shown to survive the vacuum of space, he believes that alien rocks would have made the perfect vehicle. The bizarrely deadly virus would have been then adapted to our planet's conditions before finding the perfect hosts. Us. The evidence is shaky, but it does make for a tempting explanation of a disease that seems too terrible to come from boring old Earth. And yeah, it's fine, right? It's fine. It's one of those, we're drinking the maybe juice like we so often do on this show. But that's really the question. The Super Zika, which is horrifying with that, the microcephaly, SARS. Here, let's go to SARS. Again, this is from Listverse, and we're talking about how some scientists out there believe that some of these actual diseases that we have on Earth came from space, came from comets flying by that were kind of left in the dust of a comet's tail, and that the sunspot cycle every 11 years actually causes the flu, the actual common flu, to peak every 11 years because of these actual particles that are in our atmosphere. So as they melt with the sunspots, more of them come down and the flu season peaks, you see? So interesting stuff here, but here we go. This one is from SARS. And this is, of course, SARS-CoV-2 is the other one, which is the one we've been talking about most recently. But in 2002, this severe acute respiratory virus, SARS, first appeared in China. In no time, it had spread worldwide, keeping people too scared to leave their homes. I don't know about that. It was undoubtedly deadly, but it was quickly contained. The sudden appearance of such a uniquely deadly disease gave many people, including scientists at England's Cardiff Centre for Astrobiology, cause to wonder where it had come from. The scientists suspected that virus-filled space dust could have drifted down through the atmosphere and landed east of the Himalayas, where the stratosphere is at its thinnest. Then these microbes would have started infecting the locals, whose immune systems would have been defenseless against the alien germs. The theory, while bizarre, accounts for the strangely sudden outbreak and deadliness of the virus. So again, there's more of these. We can talk about more of this stuff and some panspermia and some other things. But what do you guys think? This is again, so it's one thing to have pathogens or whatever these things are come through a comet, right? The old panspermia thing, all right? Where, life is actually passed from planet to planet by comets, by meteorites, by asteroids, by things like this, right? And whether it's an impact or the comet tail kind of cruising by and the sunspot cycles and, like this stuff seems entirely plausible to me. And I didn't actually pull up the spreadsheet and look into the 11-year sunspot cycle to see if it actually matches the peak flu season. But, some people have suggested that it does. So we're going to drink the maybe juice and go with that. So, yeah, that's what we're talking about tonight. And should we be concerned? So with these things coming from space, actually from comets and some other things, at least theories that this is where they've come from. And then we're talking about the zombie viruses from the melting permafrost. Is it possible that the Martian possible permafrost is kind of littered with all kinds of these zombie pathogens or viruses or whatever it's going to be that we have no idea about until we're going to scoop them up and send them back, and in 10 years unpack it and pray. Yeah, or be very, very careful. So anyway, that's what we're talking about tonight. So do you think it's a good idea to scoop up rocks from Mars and send them back to Earth? It would be a first, they say. We've never actually been able to study Mars rocks firsthand. It's always been through these rovers or some other things, satellites passing by, photographs, things like this. So, sure, fine. Like, I'm all for science and progress, okay? But I'm not for kind of a wing and a prayer sending possible things that might destroy the human race back to Earth, when we could just wait another 10 years beyond that and have, probably a colony up there that could decide, if you get the space herpes all by yourself just from being up there. So that's from Tim. He says it's Ice Pirates. I've never seen the movie, but it sounds hilarious. All right, so looking to hear from you guys. What do you think about this? Should we be concerned? And given the list of what I've read so far, again, SARS, we're talking about mad cow disease, we're talking about that Pandora virus. Like, there's some really alien type stuff here on Earth, right? People have suggested, this is not really a virus, but people have suggested that the octopus may be like an alien thing that came from who knows where, right? I mean, put on your Giorgio Tsoukalos Ancient Aliens hat to talk about that one. But you got it, right? You know what I'm saying. And like I said, got about 10 minutes left to finish up the final segment here on Fringe. But what do you guys think about this? Is this, again, to me, when I think about it and when I look into the actual evidence we have to suggest it's possible, and there is ample evidence, I believe, to suggest this is possible. Probable, I don't know if that's the word, but definitely possible that there's some sort of microbe or pathogen on Mars that could be detrimental to us here. You never know, right? And so do you think it's healthy? Do you think it's responsible to be flipping coins with that type of stuff and just send it back to Earth when, we could actually send people there eventually in the next 10, 20 years and then just study it there? I think that's probably the best way to do this, but what do I know? Nobody asks me, right? Nobody asks me about these things. Okay, so you guys in the chat cracking me up. Okay, so that's what's up. If you want to be part of the show, we're still talking about this. Got about 10 minutes left. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord. Troubledminds.org is the official website. You can find the phone number and the Discord link there. And let's read a couple more of these. So they say, now this is an interesting one, and again, this is from Listverse, and a list of 10 diseases that possibly came from outer space, right? And so as we do this and talk about this, there's a couple more. And number 2 on this list is the common cold, all right? And so years before Professor Chandra, I can't say that last name, formed his theory about HIV, he and astrobiologist Sir Fred Hoyle were busy penning this exhaustive defense of panspermia. It suggests that most space dust consists of microscopic creatures, going so far as to claim that the common cold is actually an alien invader. It simply drifted down into the atmosphere and waited for rain or snow to pick it up and carry it to its waiting victims. As difficult as it may be to believe, the research is surprisingly solid, and the book makes a great case. And so actually he says HIV as well. Saying that, okay, so he said this, when it comes to the disease, talking about HIV, the nightmare-inducing, responsible for AIDS, HIV is one of the most feared viruses on the planet. However, Chandra, I'm going to try and say this name, Chandra Wickramasinghe, a professor at England's Buckingham Center for Astrobiology, believes it's more than just scary. He thinks AIDS may be alien. So he and his team believes that it's super viruses like HIV are constantly being introduced to the Earth by comet collisions. All right, same thing. And I don't know, and the common cold, and then there's one Morgellons disease. Now, there's some pretty terrifying stuff on this list. And if panspermia is a thing, and it stands to reason that Mars is littered with all kinds of this stuff, and it has been for billions of years, right? So on Earth, we have the natural cycles, we have the atmosphere, we have the rain cycles, we have all kinds of things that maybe cleanse the air in some capacity, but at least knock it down, right? Kind of the rain knocks it down, the wind blows it around. I don't know about Mars so much. You imagine if you didn't really have a thick atmosphere, you didn't have like lush rain like in some places we do on the Earth, and then you just kind of litter them with bacteria, pathogens, with viruses. Then what? They lay there dormant, right? And they get blown around and mixed together, and they lie in wait for the Mars rover to come scoop them up and send them back to Earth. I don't know. Like I said, I just don't think it's that far of a stretch here. But anyway, looking to hear from you again. 702-957-1037. There's more. There's more of this, and I think it's I don't know. Like I said, these are the types of things that should be on the docket for politicians, in my opinion. Should this be outlawed? Should this be this soil sample coming from Mars? Should it be actually maybe vetted, maybe on the moon or something first? By hopefully we have some sort of small laboratory on the moon. So like Tim said, if you get the space herpes, at least you can quarantine it to the moon and not just send it back and have it explode over a city or something and just like destroy the Earth, right? I mean, I say that tongue in cheek a little bit, but still, like these are risks. And speaking of risks, kind of like the Chinese satellite that's in the sky that might just land wherever. Yeah, that's real too. That's happening. That's happening. Actually, it's not a satellite. I think it's part of a rocket. But yeah, crazy stuff. Let's see. So what do we got in the chat here? Let's see. Just cruising the chat. Again, if you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. TroubleMinds.org. And all right, so we got some more here. Let me pull up just a little bit more and we'll finish this up. So that's the trick, right? So we started talking about the actual Perseverance rover scooping up a soil sample from Mars and sending it back to Earth. Okay, which is all fine. Or is it? I think that's really the question here. So why do we end up not worrying about these things until it's too late sometimes? I think that's people kind of just being stupid here. So let's go to time.com. This is a Time magazine, and this is exactly what I'm talking about here. And I think this will probably wrap this up nicely with a neat little bow here. But Time magazine, time.com reports, coronavirus could preview what will happen when alien life reaches Earth. All right, so humanity as a whole is suffering the effects of the disease, but the Chinese are taking a particular kind of heat. Okay, Wuhan, like we said, blah, blah, blah. But here we go. COVID-19 is an entirely terrestrial problem, one that has not a lick to do with space. And yet consider, even as the virus rages, NASA is poised to launch a new rover to Mars in July that will look for microbial life and gather up some rock and soil samples, which will be brought back to Earth, potentially containing that very same microbial life on a later mission. So how do you think it's going to work out? Exactly, right? So on one hand, there's almost no likelihood any risk of contagion, right? As in a column in space.com pointed out last week, NASA has a long history of working to protect the Earth from biohazards from other planets and to protect other planets from biohazards from Earth. Okay, fine. Like we said, they're trying to keep these things from happening, all right, as they should, and they should take it very seriously. However, what just happened in the lab in Wuhan, right? Where did this thing actually come from? And there have been cases where, people make mistakes. And not only little mistakes, tremendously huge mistakes. Huge, right? Okay, so the space agency has an entire division dedicated to that goal, formerly known as the Office of Safety and Mission Assurance, the OSMA, but more commonly and descriptively known as the Planetary Protection Office. So that's really the case here. Are we going to put all our eggs in the basket of the Planetary Protection Office? I guess is the question. As they put it, as OSMA puts it, its mission is to carefully control forward contamination of other worlds by organisms and organic materials carried by spacecraft, and to rigorously preclude backward contamination of Earth by extraterrestrial life. There you go. And so, does it make you feel any better that we have a particular part of NASA that specializes in keeping pathogens from cross-contaminating planets? Does that make you feel any better? Well, I'm glad people are thinking about these things, but not happy with the fact that, like Beechwood said when he called in, that part of being human is we screw things up. It's just part of being human. We're not perfect. We're not perfect entities. We never will be. Well, until they make us machines, right? Wink, wink on that one. But for the time being, we're still these meat puppets that sometimes have a hangover the next morning, type of thing. You just never know what happens. People have bad days, and people get sick, people get frustrated, people get whatever, and they make mistakes. And so as long as you got troubled minds on the case. No, I'm just kidding. But again, I think that just part of that conversation is thinking forward. I mean, this is 10 years away, right? Except it's in the news this week, which is why we brought it up and we're talking about it, because they're going to scoop up these Martian soils this week to be sent back 10 years from now. So I think that's really the question here is, I don't know, you like this type of conversation? That's one of the questions. And the other is exactly this. Should we be concerned? Should we be extremely careful with soil from a Martian planet, from an alien planet, Mars itself, that there may be some sort of dormant microbial life, a pathogen detrimental to humans? That's the question, right? I don't think it's really that far out there to ask the question or to be concerned about it. I think it's something we should have on the top of our mind. And I think the politicians should be considering these things. But what can you do? What can you do? They don't listen to me. They don't listen to you. Unless you don't try not to pay your taxes, then they'll send a goon to your door, right? But yeah. So anyway, as we finish this up, that's really the conversation tonight. Thanks for being part of this. Thanks for hanging out. I know that sometimes the subject matter is, well, a little out there, but it wouldn't be Troubled Minds if it wasn't. So thanks for being part of it. Thanks for the phone calls. Thanks for all the great chat. If you guys are listening on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're listening on DLive, YouTube, or Facebook, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. We're still taking your phone calls, and you know the deal. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific, Wednesday and Thursday. Tomorrow we're going to talk. We'll have Ash on the show, and we'll be talking about Star Wars Day. We'll be a day late and a dollar short like usual, but stay tuned for that tomorrow. Thanks for listening, guys. Be sure, be strong, be true. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. This is Michael Strange from Troubled Minds. Did you hear that scientists recently discovered radio waves coming from Proxima Centauri? Well, I cannot confirm nor deny. We are broadcasting from that neck of the woods. You are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. As I sit down here, okay, so we're still doing our thing. We're talking about this possible pathogen from Mars. Again, some people in the chat give me a little guff. It's okay. I think, like I said, if you're not ahead of the game talking about this stuff and the possibilities, then what are you doing? Then you're reactive, and you're just like the rest of our politicians. And, not that I'm a politician or anything, but you get the point. So we're still talking about that. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Some scientists have, even respected ones, have decided that it's possible that a lot of our actual diseases that we have here on Earth have come from space. And so not just space, from meteors or comets or things like this in particular, are kind of caught up in their tails, right? And as they fly by through the atmosphere or by the atmosphere, the sunspots in 11-year cycles tend to coincide with the flu seasons, and they peak when the sunspots peak. Which would suggest that the actual tail of the comet has these microscopic organisms that kind of float around way up there and then kind of melt and come down when the sunspots peak. And so there we go. That's what we're talking about. And pathogens from Mars, the opportunity, or Perseverance rover actually not the opportunity, the Perseverance rover. There is an opportunity rover. It's just not the one we're talking about today. Is supposed to scoop up some Martian soil samples and send them back to Earth in 10 years or so. So I think what better time to talk about it than right now when they're ready to scoop these things up and send them back. Is our fate being decided today? Or is this just much ado about nothing? That's the question. So phone number's up, troubleminds.org. You know what to do. Let's go to Jay. Jay in the caller queue on Discord. What's up, Jay? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you?
Great, Mike. How are you?
Doing great, man. Doing very well. Thank you.
I was just wondering why does it take 10 years to get back?
Okay. So I think the craft that's there to bring them back isn't there yet. I think that's what's up. So they have to, it's the second part of the mission. I think that's what's going on.
They're going to send another thing out there and just everybody's got the math right. We're going to get close enough that we can hook the two together.
One's going to pick it up and then so it has to be something that could relaunch and come back. So clearly if like an engineering feat is amazing to get something to land safely on Mars, getting something to land safely and then also take off again has got to be insane. So that's
and close enough to get up with the other guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, exactly. I'm sure Mars is not little.
No, definitely not. But yeah, so that's why I think it's a second part, as I understand it, it's the second part of the mission. But they are, for some reason, they're scooping the samples now, which it kind of doesn't make sense, right? Maybe you would wait a little longer. But anyway, like I'm saying, I'm sure
I got an interesting thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My uncle was in like the Pacific when they were doing the testing on the atom bombs, Bikini Atoll and all that out there in the middle of nowhere. I can't remember what the war was, but they found a thing in he was a machinist for the Navy. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen those giant toolboxes that they have where the top has got all the little drawers for your micro screwdrivers and the bottom's got all the big drawers for your bigger tools and stuff like that. Well, the two actually come apart so you can move them. Well, in between the two is a space of about an inch and a half for the metal that holds them together to meet together. He had his diaries in there from they used to go and take soil samples and everything else like that of the islands that they would let off the bombs in, and then they would go back after the fire died down and do it again. Just to see, we're taking a sample, right here at this spot. Maybe do it. Maybe we're doing that, I see. On Mars, you mean?
Right. Maybe we're just doing that on a different level.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Like I said, we don't really know exactly what's going on because we only know what they tell us. And clearly, right, we're not told everything. And,
right.
It is what it is. We can be unhappy about it, but we're never going to get read into the super secret programs that, NASA's doing. So, we're going to have to deal with that.
We could join the National Guard Space Force and get our 2 weeks a year in up there on Mars, get our training, maybe a little peek over the fence while we're building a new bunker, or shoveling dirt or peeling potatoes or whatever it is we got to do while we're up there.
While we're in the Mars slave colony.
Well, they say they got the National Guard now. What does the Space National Guard do?
I have no idea. Tim was talking about that. I really don't know. I hadn't actually seen that yet. So what they're actually doing, I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. Let's see. Just reading some chat here in the thing, just trying to catch up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means, other than just more people to send to boots on necks, I guess. I have no idea.
Well, yeah, wow, we're going down a different road there, aren't we?
Yeah, well, it's also another definitely pertinent road that we need to talk about, but maybe not tonight. But yeah, so
that's, I understand that a lot. You see it everywhere.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe that's what's going on. And I don't know, the 10-year timeline, I'm not exactly sure. But don't you think that given when does Elon Musk? I'll look this up actually. So Elon Musk is saying that he's going to be the first colony on Mars is going to be in 2030, I believe. Let's see. Let's find out. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
2030. He keeps pushing it back.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when.
he wanted to be there in 2022. He wanted to have a start, I guess, a couple of guys in his modular home set up that they have all the different architects fighting for the thing for now.
You were correct.
Some of those things are pretty cool the way they do that.
Yeah, no,
it's a great idea. You're going to shoot up a balloon and then build a great big concrete thing where they microwave the dirt so much it turns into concrete. That's a cool idea.
That is cool.
That's how they built the pyramids.
so maybe. Okay, here we go. So this is from MSN. I found it. So Elon Musk says this, who's actually going to be on Saturday Night Live, by the way. I couldn't say that.
Get your Dogecoin before then.
Oh, God. Did you see the price of Dogecoin? Holy shit.
I did.
57 cents, I think, before we started tonight.
Ended 57 cents.
It doesn't end. It's at 64 right now. It's a 24-hour thing. Crap. Yeah, it just keeps going. It's at 64 cents right now. Holy shit. So, okay.
Hopefully I got enough.
So, again, this is not financial advice, but I did hear that one guy, JRNY Crypto, say that he expects that when Doge hits $1, there's going to be a huge sell-off because a lot of the people have been holding for a long time will at that point be wealthy, and so that's when the sell-off is going to come. So he's expecting, and he's an expert clearly, but again, this is not financial advice, etc. This is third party, even from somebody else. But he's saying that when it hits $1, there's going to be a huge sell-off, and he fully expects that to happen. So, but
some of those guys are going to make like 75, 80 cents a dollar. You know, turn 15 cents into $1.
Yeah,
might be a good time to sell if you're buying 100 shares a day.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So here we go. Back to this real fast. So Elon Musk says this. He would be able to send people to Mars by 2024, but later revise the goal to a later date. So you were correct. So he said now in December, he was highly confident that his company could land humans on Mars by 2026. So they do keep pushing this back. All right. But, he's hopeful. He is hopeful, and he is launching some really cool crap. He is,
and
they're pressing it.
Got it wrong, so what? Let's throw another one up.
Exactly. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep trying. And I think that's the best part of this is that, we need people like him. Whether you like him, whether you hate him, he gets a lot of guff from people for, being maybe immature on Twitter or whatever. But I mean, if he's really pressing to go to Mars, God bless the guy. Like we got to get up there at some point.
You're going to hate me, so what? I'm on Mars. Hate me all you want. Come up here and talk to me about it.
Haters, right? Haters, the Mars haters. You're like, yeah, I'm on the internet on Mars, sucker. All right, so yeah. I mean, so what do you think about this? All this alien pathogen stuff. Do you think there's a reason to be concerned about it, or do you think much ado about nothing?
Absolutely, be concerned about it. I mean, we travel now. I mean, people don't even think about it, but if you travel to the Middle East from the United States and stuff like that, South America and stuff like that, they want you to get shots and virus protection and things like that because you're going to a different. Christ's sakes, the conquistadors came over here and wiped out half of South America with smallpox or something.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now you're talking about going to a different planet, looking for water, and trying to make air, and then breathing it for a little while, and maybe sending somebody back who sneezes on the wrong guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Yeah. I think again, and then expecting that we're going to handle it perfectly when it gets back to Earth. I think that's a big part of that. So I don't know. What's up? Jag Ace on just joined the Discord as well. Said that I am a researcher and have dumped a lot of archives on my page. I really could do with some help sorting out what is real and what is not. And link to Facebook page Jag Ace, JAGACE. UFO collection, so in the community there. So if you guys want to check that out, I don't know who this guy is, but what's up, Jag Ace? Thanks for showing up. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I'll look into that later and give you my thumbs up or my thumbs down, depending on what kind of collection we have there. I'm just kidding. I'm not the arbiter of that. Anyway, so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what about that other stuff? What about that panspermia and the fact that the scientists are describing maybe the common flu as being an actual coming from space and kind of the flu season peaking with the solar maxima, they call it, with the sunspots. What do you think about that? That seems a little crazy, right?
It does, but earlier, I was setting tiles. I've got a stupid job where I got to go back every 5 hours and set 8 tiles. But anyhow, I was listening to the show earlier, and a thought that came across my mind when we were just saying something about that a while back was that wasn't Tutankhamun, the kid king there with the pyramid, didn't he have a dagger that was made out of like meteorite pieces or something? Metal from a meteorite?
He did.
Well, could there possibly have been something on that raw material that when they burn it off to make it into thing that helped out with all of the diseases that, you know, when they opened up the pyramids, there was a bunch of people got sick.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's just old dead stuff laying around in there.
Yeah, that was King Tut's tomb, actually. The Curse of the Pharaoh, they call that. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, with that, I don't know. I don't think it's related there. But they did revere, meteorites as jewelry and these sorts of things because they realized they were literally not of this earth and very extremely rare. So, I mean, that's a good point. We've had this stuff raining down forever, but it gets burnt off in the atmosphere, right? You can't expect, living things to survive that.
Didn't they find something? And it was like Greenland or something, I think, maybe. They found where a meteor hit, hundreds or millions of years ago, or however long it was. It was completely buried under the glaciers, but now that it was getting to the point that they could get in there. And there was stuff that microorganisms that were grown in, the permafrost, growing in the permafrost.
Yeah, the extremophiles.
Yeah, they were, making it in there, and they had no idea, nothing like anything else on the planet, The little bears, where the hell those things come from?
Yeah, the extremophiles, the water bears, the tardigrades, right?
Yeah.
I can't ever think of the name. I call them water bears because comes off the tongue easier. But yeah, the tardigrades.
It kind of looks like a little bear,
Yeah, with like 6 or 8 legs or whatever.
Electron microscope.
Yeah, and so they actually put those. They're on the moon now. So the Bereshit lander from Israel actually crashed into the moon with a bunch of the water bears on it, the tardigrades. So now currently, tardigrades are presumably on the moon, and who knows if they're surviving? They might be dormant until whatever happens. But yeah, they're there. They're there. So yeah, good stuff. Good night, guys. I see you guys that are checking out. Thanks for hanging out with us. What else? While we got you on the phone here, we got Kelly right behind you. So no hurry, my friend. But anything else while we got you on?
No, I was just thinking about the stuff. I mean, all of it seems plausible. There's no way that you cannot. It's possible.
Yeah.
Why would you keep it there? People that go to Mars aren't going to be able to come back. Let's really be realistic about that.
No, of course.
Their gravity is like 6.67 or whatever it is. It's like way less than ours.
And
your body's going to change.
Exactly.
You're going to be there for at least a couple years, so you're really going to change.
Exactly. And
if you make a couple years.
Yep. You're correct. You're correct. And so, like, Elon has even said that he expects when people go there, it's a one-way trip. You're not going to be able to vacation on Mars and come back. At least not yet, right? I mean, we're still the Total Recall. If you guys remember that movie, Domes on Mars, vacations. Yeah, that's a long way away yet. So. Yeah, it's going to be a one-way trip. If you go to Mars, you're probably going to die there. And that's, again, horrifying and inspiring and all the things all at once.
Yeah, cool though, kind of. I mean, hopefully we get to see it, It'd be neat to see, half a dozen guys end up there with their little robots and stuff like that and start building a city and be like, who's coming?
Exactly.
We made it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like you said, it's speculation, of course. It may be a unnecessary concern on my part, but at least we're not talking about the crap they're talking about on Fox
any of the others.
CNN. Yeah. Those assholes just can't. They just can't help themselves. They just propagandize everything. It's disgusting. But yeah. So anyway,
it's not good for your brain, man.
No, hell no.
Constantly focus on those same 5 stories, like you say in the news show. It's not good for your brain.
No,
it's just focus. It's just great to have a conversation about something different. Look at something different.
Exactly.
And you're a great job of doing that. And, the people that call in do a great job of doing it too.
Thank you.
Take our little shots here and there, you know, but
hey, man, it is what it is. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So I have an article here sent in by Robert on Facebook from CNN. Melting glacier reveals World War I cave shelter and artifacts. So good stuff there. I'm going to share this and put it up on the screen. But yeah, good stuff, man. So I appreciate the call. We're going to do more tomorrow. We'll have Ash on. We're going to do a little bit more of a fun show and drink some maybe juice because that's what we do, right? So thanks,
cool.
Thanks again for the call, Jay. You're the best. Anything else while we got you on?
No, have a great night, Mike. Fantastic show after fantastic show.
Thank you, my friend. I did get your review on iTunes, so thank you for that.
That's cool. I don't know how to do that Twitch thing. What's up with the little points and everything else? It's like I send you 60 something. Is that costing me money?
Yeah. So it should bill you. So if I think if you send points on Twitch, it's like cash money. So check it out. I think it's like.
Is that good for you?
Yeah. Of course, it sends me money, but I mean, just make sure.
Is it better the other way?
No. I'll outline how all that works and put it in Discord so everybody knows.
Thanks,
I'm not exactly sure myself, so I'll look into that and let you know. I appreciate it, Jay. You were the best, my friend.
All right, have a good night, Mike.
Thanks, man. You too. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, there you go. So that was Jay from New York, and we're just talking about this weird stuff. Should we be concerned about this Martian pathogen that's possibly up there or possibly not? I guess it's up to you to decide. So let's go to Kelly. Kelly in Colorado. You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend? And happy birthday. Calling in on your birthday, man. The soldier. You don't miss a day.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Appreciate it.
Pretty good, man.
I don't know, man. There's a couple things I want to. I wouldn't say I want to believe, but like there is possibility that pathogens can, come from asteroids, different planets, or whatnot. But I don't know about so-called dust from like a passing comet or whatever. That's kind of reaching for me. The only reason why I say that is because those things would have to be pretty. I mean, it's handling the vacuum of space and then entering our atmosphere and then but the heat, the temperature of the incoming is and then crash landing. I don't know, man. That's kind of hard to believe.
Well,
but
okay.
They say it can't. Like I'm talking like particles. I'm not talking like big ass rocks and shit like asteroids and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
they've already proved something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It seems a little far-fetched, except, I mean, we know that particles actually stay up in the atmosphere pretty much eternally sometimes, right? They just kind of float up there. So it's really not out of bounds to me to consider that as they kind of float down frozen in like some sort of extended life state, frozen or what have you. And then, as they melt, they come down. I mean, that makes some sense. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe juice, right? Maybe juice. I see what you're saying, though. It seems a little far-fetched.
But, something from like an asteroid that's more believable. You know what I mean? From on that standpoint, because they have bacteria that they've tested on these type of asteroids or whatnot. They believe to be asteroids anyway. But because I'm not. There's some pretty extreme stuff here on planet Earth. Because that can be able to survive everything. I don't know if there's this thing called a Hydra. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it has ability for non-senescence, which is it's more meaning of like biological immortality is what it is. So it's more like pure stem cells. It could, like if you was to cut in half, the body would grow a head and the head would grow a body. It's a pretty incredible little animal. Or I wouldn't say animal. It's a little creature, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. So stuff like that is not, in the realm of possibilities, and it can happen. But as for things falling out of the sky, that for me, like when they, that thing that you were reading about, you know, the stars. You know what I mean? That's I mean, come on, man. That's something else. For me, yeah, you know, how I take it as if it's falling from the sky, it's being sprayed on us. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, the Army and Navy, or the Army, Navy, and CIA, as you know, they have all been busted, and you know, and you can find it, you know, research that too. It's biological warfare on its own citizens. You know, they had like CIA was been busted with releasing whooping cough virus on Tampa Bay. You know, using boats. The Navy had sprayed San Francisco with biological pathogens that, you know, cause pneumonia, which is obviously it's a virus, you know. So, and what's funny is I used to say, what people think it's floating around in the air. This probably is, you know. Like the Army, they released millions of mosquitoes, you know, in the hopes of to spread, you know, yellow fever. I was in Savannah, Georgia. And, you know, all these people, like, you know, this weird stuff that's going on now, you just never know, you know. So, I don't know, man. Like, you read some of that stuff, that's what I'm saying, you know. Some of that stuff is like, you can't believe everything you're reading on there.
Yeah, of course. You're preaching to the choir on that one. But I mean, yeah, and I think you may be right. I think there's a whole bunch of that where if it's coming from the sky, what is it? And you know, the syphilis stuff, and then back in the, you know, the black community back in the, what was it, in the 30s when they did that, 40s. I don't know. It was a long ass time ago, but I mean, like, there's tons of terrible things they've done to kind of test on people. So maybe I think you're possibly maybe with a bunch of that. So I'm gonna go with thumbs up, and we'll drink some maybe juice. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the science stuff, right? I don't know. But okay, but you do agree with me that bringing back something from Mars could be dangerous, right? If we don't handle it correctly.
Okay, now let's get into that subject. Yeah, that's a whole different ball of wax right there. Because if we're talking on, like, let's go with aliens, you know, on an alien species or whatnot. Okay, so which is it? Are they walking among us? Can they walk among us? Or, you know what I mean, we're not being affected by any kind of pathogen, we're airborne or soil or water, you know what I mean? Because if these people are planetary, you know, universal visitors, you know, and you know you can't go down on every planet, but there is life on a planet, and you want to research it, you want to check it out. Either you have the ability, like, you know, Star Trek, you know, they scan the Earth, and, you know, boom, 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 all the information pops up. But, you know, it doesn't go into like a cellular or biological, real small, you know, things that could kill you. But it does tell you, hey, you know, it's breathable. It's, you know, you have this and this. There is animals there, but, you know, that's why you'd take like a weapon or something down with you. But even then, you know what I mean? These things that I believe, like these grays people are saying that they're seeing, maybe these are like biological, like robots. You know, they can come down here, but they, you know, they don't really breathe, you know what I mean, or consume anything. They can just, you know, they're here for exploring, you know, because the original people that are the space jumpers are, you know, they could be a different species that can come down here. So you're not be able to go down to every planet, you know, just to go check it out. And if you do, you're probably, you know, just like what you guys were talking about earlier, you're not going to come back. It could be due to the time frame. I don't know. You know, there's theories on that you could go down to the planet, you come back, and everybody's aged like years, and it's only seemed to be, 15 minutes down there or something.
Yeah, you based on the gravity signatures of black holes. Like yeah.
The gravity.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, and then not just that, then there's the radiation down there, and there's all kinds of things they tell us about it. But again, I think we don't we won't really know until we actually get boots on the ground, you know, and actually are able to kind of dig into the Martian soil and, you know, look at the water content and all kinds of stuff. Like there's actual like science that still needs to happen for us to really understand a lot of that. Well, again, like you said, but what do we believe? Are there people on Mars already? Right? Some people suggest there are, with the secret space program and things like that.
Yeah. So, you know, what's interesting too is that Let's say, but let's go back to the thing. I do agree with you that to bring in anything back, if they do, they should leave it in, either in space, like at, the space station as a laboratory or something, or just leave it there on the planet. Because why would you want to bring it here anyway? That's just too dangerous. But I'm pretty sure some crazy-minded scientist wants to see what kind of chemicals they can, bring up as a weapon or something. There's some freaks like that out there, but yeah. But okay. What I was gonna say earlier was that what was interesting. I remember seeing some old, like the first little robots that we sent to Mars. The little, not the ones now. I don't think maybe it was Curiosity. But anyway, they had pictures of the track. And I remember somebody had put a video together, and they were, this is like happened to do with like the cleaning part, where they said they were cleaning these robots or whatever that we have out there on Mars. But what was interesting is the part that he was talking about was when they were looking at the tracks of these things. The tracks of, the little tracks of it, that they look like, in some pictures, they look like the soil was eating part of the metal away. Right. And it was like, they were and it was not only, it was in a few different pictures, different angles. It kind of does like a selfie or has, takes a picture or part of it and, the skyline or whatnot. But the interesting part was that, it was decaying away slowly. But then, when you had the cleaning, that was the other thing that it was, that was like someone changed the tracks on it too as well. That was another thing that they didn't really talk about, but that was interesting. If that's the case, if it's eating through metal, something like that, you don't want to bring that shit back here.
No,
why would you want to? And plus, I don't think NASA's got the know-how to even send something out there like a return rocket. I mean, they're sorry. What are they going to do?
Yeah, well, I think that's part of what we were talking about, the actual engineering to bring something back from Mars without people there that seems colossal, right? I mean, yeah, I guess we'll see. And in so many cases, we have to kind of take the propaganda we get as on a bit of faith that at least they're telling us a bit of truth. But even then, right, here we are still having a tinfoil hat show in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the truth comes out. You just got to catch it in little tidbits. They send it out, and then they throw out all their propaganda or what you think you want to hear. But it's there, But I would like to agree with Elon Musk. I would like to be a part of his team to go like a one-way trip to Mars, just to even say you're on a different planet. You know what I mean?
Would you go?
Yeah, I would go for sure. Me and the wife were talking about it. We were actually wanted to sign up for the mission for that. They were asking for volunteers, go through all the physical training to see if your body would be able to handle some of that. But yeah. Well, we would like to have done that.
There you go. Brass balls. Brass balls, Kelly. I mean, I think it's, like I said, it's terrifying and it's inspiring all at the same time. Knowing it's probably going to be a one-way trip, but you're right. I talk about amazing things, right? Yeah. If you actually go there, you'd be able to see like a Martian sunrise and a Martian sunset. You'd be able to see what Earth looks like from Mars. It would be incredible. Because
to me, the great incredible part would be the initial launch, but the travel to Mars, to look upon the vast universe with your own eyes, no more telescopes. I mean, that's the closest I get with, enjoying. That's why I have a telescope and the biggest size I got, I want to go bigger, but, that's a lot of money, man. That's out of pocket. But I want to be there just to feast your eyes on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And to land on the approach of the planet. Landing. Maybe if you do make it safely, and then to put your foot down on on another planet, that would be, that'd be incredible.
Agreed. And NS in the chat says, I would not want to die on Mars. Earth is freaking beautiful. And I kind of agree there. Like there would be that an eternal homesickness. We'll see what happens. So Elon Musk has pushed it back to 2026, and I have a hunch it's going to go to 2028, maybe possibly 2030. I mean, he's 49 years old, right? Elon Musk, so he's not a spring chicken anymore. So he's got to get his ass up there, or pretty soon he's going to be too old to go through the rigors of space. So it's got to happen. He's like kind of TikTok on the clock.
Yeah, that would be. I don't know though. He's got the money to do it. Even if he has to, like, I think he would probably want to. Even if he died in space, he'd be even happy with that. But yeah, even though it's like that comment was how beautiful Earth is, still, I still wouldn't like to investigate Mars. Just to see. You never know. But where I want. You want me to drop me off at?
What is that?
Right
Cydonia. Cydonia.
You got it, baby. You got it. Right there, right next to the face in the pyramid. That's where I want to be dropped off, right there.
Yeah.
Just to prove it.
Yeah, of course. They wouldn't do that, right? You'd be like as far away from possible. They'd be like, no, the base is over here, Kelly. You're like, fuck off. I'm going to Cydonia. Yeah.
Exactly. I got to know. Yeah.
I got to know. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Lots of compelling stuff up there. Again, thanks for the call. Anything else while we got you on? And happy birthday again. I'm sure you're 29 years old again, right?
Yeah, 21 again, man.
Nice.
Spring chicken.
Spring chicken. Man. We're coming back from the ashes. Yeah. I appreciate the call. I'm not rushing you off. Anything else while we got you on?
No, man, that's it. I just wanted to give my little tidbit on it. But one thing too, I was like, real quick. I was just saying, like they say they live, they walk among us, and then you have the story of Valiant Thor, and he was supposed to be from Venus, right? And they're actually, he says, that they're not carbon based, they're silicon based, but yet he would still be able to survive the rigors of our planet. So maybe we can survive on planets that are in our galaxy, in our solar system. That maybe you can do that. I'm just saying, maybe juice. Like let's say that because they are the planets in our solar system that maybe it might affect us and it might shorten our life or even lengthen our life. But let's say that you can at least. Let's say that you could, on these planets. But if you was to go out of our galaxy or out of our solar system onto another solar system, you couldn't do it. That's the other thing too. Just it would be the ability to do that would be remarkable as well.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. And who knows? We'll see. I think like Tim said when he called in earlier, we live in exciting times, right? And you never know what tomorrow's going to bring because literally think about that. In our lifetime, we might get the first people on Mars, supposedly. So amazing stuff, man. I can't wait to see what happens, and hopefully we don't destroy ourselves before then. Crossing our fingers.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Appreciate it, my man. Happy birthday. Thanks again for the call. We'll talk to you soon. That's Kelly from Colorado. Happy birthday! All the happy birthdays in the chat. Thanks, man. Thanks everybody for caring. Thanks Kelly for calling on your birthday, the special day, and thanks for all the great takes there. As always, always great takes. We got Jag Ace in the Shoot the Breeze. I don't know if he wants to come on the show, but let's look at this real quick. So Tim linked this. This is from Politico. This is what he was talking about. Plans for a new Space National Guard close to liftoff, top general says. So Pentagon officials are finalizing recommendations to establish a separate Space National Guard. The nation's top National Guard office told lawmakers, potentially setting up a new cadre of part-time space professionals for the military. General Daniel Hokanson, the chief of the National Guard Bureau, on Tuesday called establishing a Space National Guard, quote, among my most pressing concerns. What the hell is this? He continues, I believe we're fairly close on that, Hokanson said during a hearing of the House Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. Hokanson told members that the Space Force's top officer, General J. Raymond, and Acting Air Force Secretary John Roth support a two-component construct of an active duty reserve and reserve Space Force along with the Space National Guard. The trio, he testified, have met with Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks and are set to begin again Wednesday ahead of a briefing with Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on the plan. Yeah, I don't know how the hell you do that, right? You're like, deploy the National Space Force Guard. The alien invasion is beginning. This is the world we live in, guys. What the hell does this even mean? All right, let's try Jag Ace here and see if he wants to be on the show. Jag Ace, what's up? You're on the show, man. I don't know if you want to be on the show, but I thought I'd give it a shot. You were in the queue there. Test 1 2. Can you hear me? Test 1 2. Jag Ace, you were on the air. You had a Facebook channel you wanted to plug, you wanted to talk about, researcher, I guess maybe new to Discord. All right, no problem. So I'm going to put you back in the thing there, and there we go. All right. So he's typing. Okay, so anyway, we got time for you guys. We've got 20 minutes left. Okay, that's cool. He says no mic set up yet. That's cool. All right, so if you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. The phone number's up. Discord, you know where to find it, troubledminds.org. And there's more here, right? So I was kind of going through a bunch of this. And again, Robert shared this as well from CNN. The melting glacier reveals World War I cave shelter and artifacts. So I'm going to read a little bit of this because this was shared again, probably on point with the melting permafrost type stuff. Researchers have discovered a treasure trove of World War I artifacts from a cave shelter in northern Italy revealed by the melting of a glacier. During the war, the cave shelter housed 20 Austrian soldiers stationed at Mount Scorluzzo on the Alpine front, close to the famous Stelvio Pass, historian Stefano Morosini told CNN Tuesday. While people knew the shelter existed, researchers were only able to enter it in 2017 as the surrounding glacier had melted. Added Morosini, who is scientific coordinator of the Heritage Project at Stelvio National Park and teaches at the University of Bergamo. So how come the glacier has lasted since World War I? And anyway, I got some questions here. Regarding this. Okay, so anyway, good stuff. Let's go to the chat and see what's up. Are people still out there? Anybody still out there? What's up, Tam Bam? Welcome to the show. Thanks for waking up early for us again. We got Brian says Dark Side of the Moon. What else do we got? What if we were the ones giving them the ideas and things to build all this time, and these things were never there till discussion came about? Maybe, right? They call that putting it in the air. And things don't happen until the ideas become something to think about, something to talk about. Sherry says, better planets than here. Where? Where's the next one? That's okay, Jag. I see you there. No mic set up. No problem. You're welcome when you get one set up. Hop on the show. No problem. Let's see. Brian says, I truly believe our origins go back to other planets, to the constant orbital rotation. They shift and tilt. The patterns change constantly. Once upon a time, we were on another planet in the same spot. And I think maybe, right? Ancient civilizations and all the rest of that. What's up, Cool Channel? I see you there. It says, I just see Mars as a joke that only privileged, sheltered people enjoy. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's see. Does my purchase ensure that Peru will always kept down so we can all enjoy low-cost coffee? I'm not. We making jokes here? I just don't understand. When I buy low-cost coffee from Peru, am I part of the deep state? I don't know. Give me a call if you want to clarify. I have no idea what you're talking about. Seems like you're on a bit of a tangent there, but anyway, it's okay. We're allowed. Okay, so what else do we got? We got Marge. Penny's checking out for the night. Good night, guys. Thanks for hanging out. The Space National Guard is a private agency. Okay, all right. Robert says, what does Space Force do? Are they out in space here doing work on space? What? I think it's unclear. I think it's a little bit unclear exactly what Space Force is doing. Yeah, right. They're clearly working with the Air Force. I would expect, but I don't know. Let's check Dogecoin, see if it's gone up. Yep, it's gone up a penny. It was 64 cents. Now it's 65 cents. Holy shit! It's gonna hit $1. It's gonna hit $1 by Saturday when Elon goes on Saturday Night Live. It's so crazy. All right, so again, back to the Guardian. The flu comes from outer space, claim some scientists, right? So again, this is what I'm talking about. I just don't know. Based on a lot of this stuff like this lithopanspermia. So during the 1830s, Swedish chemist John Jacob Berzelius confirmed that carbon compounds were found in certain meteorites fallen from the heavens. Berzelius' finding contributed to theories propounded by later thinkers, including the physician H.E. Richter and physicist Lord Kelvin. Lord Kelvin declared in 1871, quote, "We must regard it as probable in the highest degree that there are countless seed-bearing meteoric stones moving about through space. If at the present instance no life existed upon this earth, one such stone falling upon it might, by what we blindly call natural causes, lead to its becoming covered with vegetation." Interesting stuff here, right? And so this isn't even new. This panspermia and this lithopanspermia is not a new concept. This has been talked about for hundreds of years here. So again, like how much of this do we believe? I think that's part of the problem. A lot of the information is I don't know if it's, I don't want to call it fake, right? But it just is what it is. It's spun by the media and all the rest of the crap we always talk about. So here we go. Here's the article I'm looking at. So this is the panspermia theory, right? So panspermia is a Greek word that translates literally as seeds everywhere. The panspermia hypothesis states that the seeds of life exist all over the universe and can be propagated through space from one location to another. Some believe that life on Earth may have originated through these seeds. Mechanisms for panspermia include the deflection of interstellar dust by solar radiation pressure and extremophile microorganisms traveling through space within an asteroid, meteorite, or comet. Okay? 3 popular variations of the panspermia hypothesis are this. Number 1, lithopanspermia. Impact expelled rocks from a planet's surface serve as transfer vehicles for spreading biological material from one solar system to another. All right, that makes sense. So we could have maybe Mars actual biological material here already. Maybe from that, lithopanspermia. The second, ballistic panspermia. Impact expelled rocks from a planet's surface serve as transfer vehicles for spreading biological material from one planet to another within the same solar system. So we have from one solar system to another, then we have from within the same solar system. Then we have directed panspermia, which is the intentional spreading of the seeds of life to other planets by an advanced extraterrestrial civilization, or the intentional spreading of the seeds of life from Earth to other planets by humans. And I think that's what we're looking at when we're going to Mars, right? We're gonna have directed panspermia because we're gonna be taking actual microbes from Earth, and people are gonna be pooping up there, right? They're gonna be eating and doing our thing. Let's see, what do we got? Let's see, what do we got? I was reading the chat, hanging out, seeing what's up. Let's see. Okay. All right. So there we go. So again, I don't know. There's a lot of really good stuff here. Let's see how long this video is. Stephen Hawking talking about how did life begin, and talking about that's all right. We'll skip that. All right. Anyway, so looking to talk to you guys. We got a few minutes left, about 15 minutes left of the show. So if you want to be part of it, you know what to do. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubleminds.org. Get your ass in here. Let me see what I missed tonight. I got all kinds of articles. The 10 diseases. Here we go. Here's this. Now, this is from Northrop Grumman, right? Which is actually a government contractor. And not only a government contractor, one of the more infamous government contractors, right? Up there with Raytheon and the rest of these guys. But here we go. Northrop Grumman reports this. And this is from 2020, June of 2020. Let's see. What's up? Are you talking about me? What's up, Scorpio? Why don't you show your face? All right, here we go. Let's show my face. All right, maybe. Yeah, it's on the thing. It's on the channel, dude. It's on the channel. Go down to the news show. My face is on every news show. So the reason I don't at night is because I I'm drinking a little beer. I don't want you guys to watch me drink beer, but maybe I will in the future. I almost did tonight, to be perfectly honest, but whatever. Anyway, so can viruses survive in space? All right, can they? I think that's the question. That's the question. So the pathogen particle prognosis, right? So viruses are everywhere. Some don't infect humans, while some, such as the common cold, cause minor irritating symptoms. Others are both contagious and potentially critical. Today, we're facing challenges with respiratory illnesses that spread rapidly and don't easily relent. What if we could get away from it all, far, far away, and slip the surly bonds of Earth to avoid the impact of on-planet pathogens? It's an interesting idea, but what's the prognosis? Can viruses survive in space? And yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. So let's see. It's here we go. The prognosis is yes and no. Outside the confines of the ISS or shuttle, even the most resilient respiratory illnesses will have a tough time. But inside pressurized metal transports, there's a different story. Astronauts can easily bring colds or a flu from home and infect fellow crewmates, while seemingly long-dead diseases can reemerge as immune systems struggle with the stress of space-based living. The bottom line, space is no virus vacation. While you're probably protected from alien pathogens, probably, notice the word, what you're already packing could make an outer space adventure very, very uncomfortable. There we go. So, at least there's people talking about this, and I don't know if it's if there's any actual definitive answers here. So here's another one. This is actually a scientific paper written regarding alien pathogens. So this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like there's people thinking about this. There's science doing science on this stuff. And thanks, Sherry, if you're bouncing. I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Let's see. Jay says, that's funny. No pics of Mike drinking beer, running for office. Nah. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can get the camera up. Hold on. I don't even know if we have a what you call it. Yeah, no. I'll do it next time. I'll do one of these other times. If you're dying to see my face, it's on the news show right there on the YouTube channel. So it's no big deal. It's really no big deal. But okay, so anyway, let's finish this up. A few minutes left here. Again, looking to talk to you, and if not, then I'll just read some of the rest of the stuff. Let's see. What else did I miss? I had a whole bunch of stuff kind of pulled up, ready to go, and we pounded through a bunch of it. Let's see. What do we got? To the Atlantic. Let's see. All right, here you go. Here's one. This is from the Atlantic.com, and this is interesting. This. Why hasn't disease wiped out the human race? Fear of extinction is human. Thankfully, so is resilience. So they say, right, that they're talking about the 2014 West African Ebola outbreak. And as an infectious disease physician, I was interviewed on outlets such as CNN, NPR, and Fox News about the dangers of the virus, and the answer I gave was always the same. Ebola is a deadly, scary disease, but it is not that contagious. It will not find the U.S. or other industrialized nations hospitable. All right, good. Right, that's good. That's a good thing. In other words, no, I wasn't worried, and not because I have a rosy outlook on infectious diseases. I'm well aware of the damage these diseases are causing around the world: HIV, malaria, tuberculosis, the influenza pandemic that took the world by surprise in 2009, the anti-vaccine movement bumping cases of measles to an all-time post-vaccine era high, antibiotic-resistant... Now, this is the scary one. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria threatening to collapse the entire structure of modern medicine. And this is all real. And it says all these, like Ebola, are continuously placing an enormous number of lives at risk. So, yeah, like tons of stuff I was looking at tonight to make sure I kind of got like a wider view of what this was and how we should be thinking about it and looking at it. So anyway, I'll link some more, a couple more articles here, and let's finish this up. We are done. It's a lot harder, guys, when you don't call. It's a lot harder. I have to go through a bunch of this crap. I don't get to drink beer. I get irritable. If you don't call me, I get irritable. So let's see. What else do we got? Let's see. What else? Let's see. Michael, one more great show. Thank you. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. Jag A says, do those med beds really exist? I suppose they would take care of any health issues and viruses. If so, the med beds, that's from, what's his face? Randy Kramer talking about the med beds on Mars and stuff, right? Yeah. Robert says, I've seen Mike's strikingly handsome face. If I was an alien, I'd abduct that face immediately and genetically hybrid it. Thank you. I think maybe it has been. Brian says, are you like me, Mike? Are you also a ghost? No, sir. I'm not a ghost. I'm an actual person. So, okay, anyway, let's see if Dogecoin has gone up anymore since we last checked. 65 cents. It's 67 cents. Oh, my God. I'm not shitting. Look. Oh, you saw it. Unbelievable. It was like 3 cents in January or something like that, right? Or 4 cents in January. Like, unbelievable. This is crazy. Like, the world is going upside down. Oh, Dogecoin. Yeah, okay, all right. Since we've started, it's probably gone up like a nickel. My goodness gracious. All right, so are we betting that by Saturday it's going to hit $1.50? What do you think? That's crazy. So Elon Musk is going to be on Saturday Night Live, and he's always talking about, tweeting about Doge, and Doge is at 67 cents currently. Can you freaking believe it? Hold on. I had a timestamp of where it started on the show. I sent it to a friend of mine. I was like, dude, yeah. So at 6:26 p.m., Dogecoin was at 57 cents. 57. That's 6:26 p.m. And now it is 9:56. It's 3 hours later, and Dogecoin has jumped up 10 cents. 57 cents to 60 cents. Oh, God. Okay. All right. In the course of one show, 10 cents Doge up. Crazy. First rule of care, don't give a fuck. What's up, Scorpio? There you go. Let's see. What else do we got? What's up, Tasha? Thanks for showing up tonight. You're just in time for us to finish. What else do we got? Kate says, maybe we are microorganisms. There you go. Right? We're microorganisms to the Cthulhus of the universe. Let's see. What else do we got? What else? Looking at the chat. Yeah, maybe. 67 cents. In the span of one show, 3 hours, we got a whole 10 cents plus on Dogecoin. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah. Robert, exactly. One bad solar flare. Bye-bye billions of crypto. And you're totally right. Yeah. So what do you think? What do you guys think? By Saturday, is Dogecoin going to hit $1? I think so. I think I jumped 10 cents in 3 hours. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Robert says this. Just think of one of the labs that has viruses for some reason. Lets them all out. We are done. Shut down the whole world. Yeah. When the one shut down the whole world. I got you. Jagay says, it's been many years since I have spoken on air, but I will make my mic set up in the next time I'm here. Yeah, come on. You guys are welcome on the show. Like I said, I get irritated when nobody calls me because then I can't drink beer. And so I'm sitting here with a warm beer in my hand trying to fill dead air. Here, I could always do this. I could always just play some music and just drink some beer. What do you guys think? That's less fun, right? That's totally less fun. Yeah. So anyway, we're done. So the outro music is really what that is. But this is the thing, right? We do this show 3 nights a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, and we do the news show. The news show, Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. You can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Troubled Minds Radio. You can find us there on Monday and Friday, and they go up on YouTube the next day. So you can find everything on YouTube if you're patient. If you want to catch us live, Monday and Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific on Twitch. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific for Troubled Minds on DLive, Facebook, and YouTube. Anyway, just go to the website, troubledminds.org. You'll find all the stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. If you don't call me, I get grumpy. Don't make me put a bunch of clips together and just play some clips and drink beer, because I'll do it. I've done it before. I'll do it again. All right. We're finishing this up. Finishing this sucker up. What's up? We got, let's see. $100 in January would be $2,300 today. So, no? What? What are you talking about? We need another integer to complete that math. All right, so we're done. What's up, Tinfoil? Timothy says, I don't know if the general in charge here is a good enough source. Might not be up to standards. Talking about that Space Force article he linked. What's up, guys? Join the Discord. If you have not, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Come in and say hi. Jag Ace just joined us tonight. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. And we're done. We're finished. We'll be back tomorrow night with Ash talking about all kinds of weird stuff for the evening. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. From our troubled minds to yours. Have a great night.